How's it going, YouTube? Welcome in. This is Mental Health Monday. As always, feel free to step away at any point if the content of this talk might be potentially triggering. We're going to be talking with our new friendo here, Census Taker, on their experiences of being autistic. We're going to play our little intro thing, and yeah, gonna have a good time. We're gonna develop a clickbait thumbnail on the go and title somewhere. I don't know. Probably something sparkly autistic person talks being autistic. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's sparkly.
Yes. All right. So say hello to the intro that might or might not freeze. We'll see. Here we go. Hello there, everyone. My name is Waba, and what you're about to watch is Mental Health Monday. It's a podcast that I do every single week live on Twitch, link in the description below. We talk with 1 to 2 guests, sometimes 3, on a topic of the month, and purely I'm just asking them about their experience with this topic. Either they have personally gone through this or they have dealt with it in some manner in a personal way. The purpose of these talks is to bring education to others and to bring awareness to these issues, and that mental health is real, mental health matters, it's okay to not be okay, and more to the point, it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to reach out for help. There's a lot that goes into Mental Health Monday. It's very intentional, and we have a bit of a check-in usually before the talks. In addition, I myself am trained as a mental health counselor. I have a master's in mental health counseling. Now, I never, ever, ever will claim that I am anyone's therapist online. I'm a mental health advocate, and I will share resources to the day I die. But as far as help goes, I highly encourage anyone out there to seek your own help. I have resources both on my Twitch page, but also in my Discord under resources, and highly encourage anyone to seek professional help if you are struggling with something that the people on my podcast are talking about with their experiences. In addition, they're raw, uncut, and unscripted. I usually have a few questions to kind of structure it a little bit, but we might go off the rails sometimes, have some casual conversations. Other questions might be asked, delving into details. All things considered, I put a content warning out there at the beginning of my talks usually, right before we jump into them. And it's just to say, hey, show some respect, towards the guests and their stories, first of all, obviously. But more importantly, if a topic comes up that might be potentially triggering, feel free to click off the video, feel free, to click off the stream, during the stream, or mute the tab, whatever, come back when you feel comfortable. I don't wish to trigger anyone, but I want these talks to be as unrestricted as possible so that folks can tell their story in their best words. Your discretion is advised depending on the nature of the subject. So with that out of the way, I just want to welcome you into this video. Feel free to skip ahead as well. I'll put a timestamp in the description. And with that, enjoy Mental Health Monday and welcome into the Waba fam, your mental health talk place and queer safe space. Take care. I really gotta redo that one of these days. Hello, welcome in. You can actually hear me now.
Yeah. I was listening in on the stream.
Yes, I'm gonna crank your microphone up.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright. Am I going to regret cranking you to 200% now? Let's go. Sound test, hello?
Hello.
Okay, you're fine. So hi, how's it going? How are you doing today?
Good. I hate that question. Don't you hate that question?
Sometimes. I mean, I'm always genuine with my answer, and people don't expect that, because I'm like, how are you really doing, though?
Right. Like, today I happen to be doing good, but, like, most of the time, like, just saying good makes me feel like a liar. I don't know
Just like a
why.
social obligation to say, yeah, I'm good.
Right.
They don't
Like,
really want to hear
are you
anything
really,
else.
though?
No, I'm more of like the, how are you really feeling today?
jumped on people who were like, "Oh, okay, well, nice seeing you." Just gone.
See, I'm fine with any response. Try to make that
Oh,
clear.
yeah.
But introduce yourself. What do you do? Who you is? Who you are?
I'm Stephanie. I go by Census Taker on Twitch, and I'm recently a watercolor painter. Before that, I was a photographer and a digital artist and a number of other crafty things.
It's really awesome.
I have 3 kids. I'm 40, and
You feel old?
usually, I usually feel like shit. So,
I'm about to turn 30 and I'm crying.
oh God, it just gets worse. This does not get better.
So
Sorry.
it gets better and then it gets worse.
When did it get better? Okay,
Mhm.
listen, my 30s were actually pretty darn good. But then when I hit 35, I got some major health problems. So things
Mm,
haven't been great on that front. So what
understandable.
kind of questions do you have?
I feel bad I
Because
didn't take you through this beforehand, but
that's okay. I knew that I didn't have information going into it, and I felt like maybe that's better because then I'll be able to say what I'm really thinking.
that's right. I think you told me that specifically maybe at some point or another.
But yeah, I can't remember. I didn't want to stress about what I was gonna say.
You don't have to stress about it. I'm mostly just interested in hearing literally your life experience with being autistic. Like, when did that start? Like, when did you find out? All the other stuff. How is it growing up, etc. So forth, Just,
So I didn't find out until I was 35 maybe.
mm-hmm.
And I'd suspected for a couple years before that, but it wasn't until I was 35 and I actually spoke to my psychiatrist and my therapist at the time, and I was just like, and my new therapist agrees with me as well. So I've been evaluated by a couple of different people, not through an official neuropsych though, but the neuropsych that evaluated my older two um, pulled my husband aside and she's like, "There's like something off about your wife. You should probably get her checked out." And I was just like, "Lady, shut up." I was in total shutdown mode when we were doing interviews for the neuropsych for the boys. I just didn't want to deal with her at all. I thought she was such a jerk and that she didn't know enough about autism to be making a decision, because she just didn't know a lot of things about current, you know,
Mm-hmm.
current common knowledge wasn't common knowledge to her.
Such
And
as.
that, like, that you can be autistic and make eye contact. That's why she ruled out that my boys were autistic.
Oh my god.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. She was not qualified to do her job.
Not at all.
But it's the only autism center here in Nevada that I was told about. So that,
You're in Nevada, you said?
Mm. Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas.
Wild.
This is the place where doctors go to suck at their jobs. I'm convinced. There's like
I
a billboard.
I
They
wouldn't
pay
doubt
them
it.
all to come here and be crappy.
Las Vegas seems like so isolated. Like, I've been there as a tourist so many times, but it's just so isolated.
Oh, have you? You're in California then?
No, I'm in Albany, New York. I've
In
just
New York.
been there.
How have you? That's crazy.
What do you mean? I've just been there on vacation. Like, my parents used to take me on vacation a lot of places.
I guess
Um,
I never went on a lot of vacations. We went to family
fair enough.
vacation, which was like camping in a shitty tent in the woods.
Mm,
Roasting
yeah.
marshmallows.
The only shitty camping I've been on is for like Boy Scout stuff. Um, just to quickly explain to you, and to folks who don't know, um, my mother is a raging narcissist and also a closet hoarder. So I grew up in that household, and she would often have us go on vacations to various places around the U.S. Um, Usually we'd kind of repeat some trips as well. But honestly, I always called it out as like we're just escaping our mess, like we're escaping our problems. Like the problems are still gonna be there when we get home. Cause she'd always like frame it as like, oh well, I just want to get away for a bit, you know, and I just like want to like clear our head and like be better and this that and the other thing. I'm like, the problems are still gonna be there when you come back. You realize like, slash the problems are also systematic and in our family and in our relationship style. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't get automatically gets
My
fixed by going on
mom,
vacation. It just moves it somewhere else.
my mom is a straight up neat freak.
Yeah.
So I grew up not being allowed to like have anything out of place, and I'm a natural slob. Like I just cannot organize myself. So that was
Understandable.
always an area where we butt heads, where she just did not understand my inability to organize my space um, in any meaningful way to her. But I knew where everything, still do. My desk is a wreck, but I know where everything is.
I mean, same. That's just kind of how it works. Are you
That's
do you
how it
also
was.
have ADHD perhaps?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm on Adderall.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm glad that
So
helps.
I
I
got
hope that helps you.
diagnosed like 6 years ago
Mhm.
and went on medication at the same time. And so that was kind of a real turning point for me when I was able to start trying to get my life back on track. But um I had the like a shoulder injury and a neck injury that just kept getting worse. So that put a put up a roadblock, I suppose,
Mhm.
towards getting better. And then my marriage was slowly deteriorating over the last 5 years to the point where last year I actually walked out for 3 weeks. We separated,
It's wild.
and I was totally gonna divorce him. But he got into anger management and therapy and onto some depression meds, and he's been taking it very seriously, and he's done a complete 180. So he's fucked up a couple times, but nothing to the point that would make me think he's not progressing.
That's awesome that you're still willing to like, and just be willing and be there and work through with him, Try to be
He
supportive.
asked me to do marriage counseling, and I thought it was a waste of time, but I went anyway. And she ended
Mm.
up actually being really good. Because I think she cares enough about each of us as an individual. She wants to see us both happy.
Yeah. Marriage counseling is always tricky, you know.
Yeah, you hear some crazy shit come out of your partner's mouth that you had no idea they were thinking.
Yeah. This is why communication is so important, friendos. Communicate with your
He
partner,
would,
communicate with your
he would just
friends.
he bottles it up and thinks he's doing me a favor.
No.
No.
No, you're not. It's stressing you out probably even more so.
Yeah, it stresses me out because I know he's stressed out and he's not talking.
Just like
Yeah.
I went through this as well in my relationship. My Frankie told me like, listen, if you're mad at me, just say you're mad at me, and instead of just
Right, I
like,
can't read your mind, and I'm
yeah,
not gonna. And
vice
if you tell
versa.
me you're okay, I'm probably gonna believe you or know that I can't get you to say otherwise. So there's no point.
Exactly.
But
I
I may not be the most emotionally available partner, but when he needs someone to listen to him, I'm there.
I get that. Yeah, yeah,
But he also needs to make an effort to have friends that he can bounce ideas off of. Like I
yeah,
can't be his
absolutely.
one and only in
Yeah,
life.
and it's
With the
kind of
pandemic, it had s- we had no one else to talk to for the whole like
right.
2 years. We were just stuck together, hating each other. It just
Sure.
was really, really awful.
Let's imagine it's super super duper frustrating. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
I feel like the pandemic has been a weird blessing for some people in disguise because I know with Twitch there was like a huge influx of all these communities popping up, so it gave people a big
right.
sense of community and
Yeah, in that
communication
way,
and
it's been
friendship.
a major blessing finding the art community on Twitch, and subsequently through
Yeah,
that, the music scene
right.
and the mental health and wellness scene, and then just finding so many fucking autistics, dude.
Yeah, I know,
So
it's great. I
many.
love us.
Everybody on Twitch is autistic. I don't care what you say.
A
Either
lot of
that or you're
folks.
ADHD or something.
Or
You're
something.
fucking something, okay?
Yeah. A lot of us
And
are. And
well,
I love
yeah,
it.
we all. I love it. It's I found my people.
Hell yeah.
There's no other way to say that. Twitch really saved my mental health. It gave me the strength to confront my husband.
It's all
It
amazing.
gave me the community to feel supported in my decision, and I felt supported even when I chose to stay. So, that meant a lot to me to have quote unquote people in my corner.
It's really a nice feeling when like people hear you and understand your struggle and feel
Oh,
for
and I
you.
was being 100% open with chat. Like they even
Yeah.
saw him come over to my desk and act a fool in front of them. Like he
Wild.
embarrassed me online, and it was like the worst day ever. He doesn't do that shit no more though, because he made an effort to understand that I'm autistic and understand the ADHD patterns and work together with me.
Yeah, because it's super fucking important in order to like
He was
date
taking it
you.
personally. He thought that everything I didn't do for him or couldn't do for myself was like a personal attack somehow.
No.
Like that I was doing it on purpose or being lazy. And I wasn't. I was struggling hardcore.
Yeah. It's like I'm not struggling here on purpose. Like I'm not trying
I
to
was
wreck
in a
my
total
life on
burnout.
purpose.
Right. I mean, I could barely get off the couch and
Yeah.
interact with my children. It was so bad some days. And he would come down angry that I'd slept the day away. And he just couldn't see that I was like massively depressed. And he would get mad. And seeing it from his perspective, I would get annoyed too if I thought that was what they were doing. But it's not.
Nero is so food motivated. Yeah, it's super not. I mean, never mind the autism, also the ADHD.
Right.
It's all shit fuck stack basically. At the end of the day, that's how
Most of the time
intersectionality
you can't even
works.
tell what's what.
Yeah, that too.
It's together. It's a thing together. It's like chemistry class. It's bonded.
It's a covalent bond.
Yes, exactly. Except over here, it's more like potato catalyst.
Potato catalyst. The potato catalyst of autism.
Start with a potato.
Great. We have our title.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Going back to
Mm-hmm.
the original kind of talking point you threw out there about just kind of
Leading
growing up. When did I
questions,
first
yeah.
know? Yeah. My very first idea that I might be autistic came from the fact that I'm hyperlexic.
Hyperlexic. What is that?
It's where you're very verbose, you have a huge vocabulary from a young age, you're precocious, and you can usually read from a ridiculously young age as well. So I was reading at age 3. I remember devouring every book in my house and then walking to the library as a 5-year-old by myself to read books and then walking home again. I have no idea why I was allowed to do that. Or if
wild.
anybody even knew that I was doing that. I have no idea. So that was my first clue.
Reading at a higher level is actually a sign of autism.
Yeah. So
this explains a lot. I was reading fucking Tolkien in like middle school. I was obsessed.
Definitely. You know what? I hated Tolkien though. Fucking trees, walking, more bushes.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying after a while.
Shut up about the foliage, dude. Nobody cares.
You know who's worse for it?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad because I like the story, is Terry Pratchett.
Totally agree.
He describes every single tree, even if he's described the tree before.
It's kind of one of those, it's a pet peeve of mine where if they overly detail everything, it
Yeah,
gets boring, and then I start to skip pages and pages and pages and pages.
I feel.
I skipped damn near the whole book. I mean, when we're talking about Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings and The
Yeah.
Hobbit, I
Like, I wanted to
half
get
of
into it, and then, like, the
it.
movies came out. I haven't seen the movies yet still, and I know some people harp on me for that.
The movies
Yeah,
are so good.
I haven't
So
seen
good.
them. I've
It's
seen
the
I've seen, like,
only
clips.
time where I'm gonna say that the movie is better than the book.
That's wild. Yeah. The book is just so dry after a certain point. And like when I saw the movie and I saw like all like the interpretations of various things, like the interpretation of what's his fucking the eyeball in the tower, what's his name?
The Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, the Eye of Sauron. I thought I did not understand that. I did not read that in the book. When I read about Sauron, I was like, okay, so there's some like really evil wizard and he's in a tower and he has like an all-seeing eye or some sort. Like I thought he just had like a looking glass or something.
Right, I would have thought something more like Harry Potter's sieve. Mind sieve.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but no, they're like, no, the eye is the tower.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not
what?
sure that that's what was going through my mind when I read the book.
When I read it, I was just like, all right,
I was thinking more
tower
of like an
wizard.
occultist in a tower, not
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
a giant fucking eyeball. Gotta admit though, the eyeball's creepy.
Yeah, I think they nailed Golem. That's about the only thing.
Oh, for sure. Did you know that that guy had to drink special golem juice? It's like a lemony tea that he had to drink in between takes so that he didn't ruin his throat forever.
Oh, I imagine so. That voice is awful.
And did you know that it's a voice he originally made up for his cat?
Yes, I could. Yeah, I believe that.
Useless bits of information for free. I'm here all week.
I mean,
Well, not here.
that's what
I'm
being
on Twitch.
ADHD and autistic is all about. Just having a lot of useless bits of information for no
But
particular reason.
it's not on permanent recall. Like I couldn't be on Jeopardy. There's no way. I would just be like, I don't know. I don't know anything. So I may think I know something until somebody actually asks me about it, and then I don't know anything anymore.
Understandable. So at an early age, you were like you're reading fucking the encyclopedia.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I I was miles ahead of my peers. I didn't actually have any peers, and it was very difficult to
Same.
make
No
friends.
friends.
No friends.
What is
Because
making
I was
friends?
I was a snob, so I was like, oh my god, these people are so dumb. Because they were elementary school kids, and I should have been in, middle school probably.
Yeah.
They didn't even let me skip through the gifted program
The
because,
fuck?
well, ADHD is a lovely thing, and my test taking at the time, they didn't explain why it was important. There was a weird fan blowing in the room, and the person overseeing the test like sniffled a lot, and so I couldn't pay attention to the test, but I managed to still do like borderline. So they could have put me in gifted, but they chose not to because my mom didn't want me to be around older boys.
I guess valid, but like
Is it?
what
Not
the
really.
fuck? It's not really valid because it's like, all right, I'm gonna hold my daughter back because
Yeah, boys.
like what? Like cause boys? Like fuck that.
Okay.
Fuck boys.
Mm-mm.
Fuck
was
boys,
weird.
but not really.
Yeah, don't fuck the boy.
Don't fuck the boys.
I didn't actively do any of that until I was in college, but I did have some assault issues when I was younger, which didn't help things.
Yeah.
But they weren't traumatizing or devastating in the way that I expected them to be. Just things that happened to me. I don't know. It's weird. That's the disassociation, though. I truly feel like if I had to work through that in therapy, there would probably be some tears.
Imagine so. I mean, it's a traumatizing thing to be sexually assaulted or sexually harassed in any way,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely is.
Well, there's a catch to it. Is I don't know for certain if it even happened because I was
Hmm.
passed out, but signs pointed to that it probably had.
That's worse, and kind of points
Yeah,
to that you were probably raped, it seems.
probably, but I wouldn't
Yikes.
know. He carried me home at least. That was nice. Was
Guess a
barfing my
gentleman.
guts up. I suppose so.
Oh, boy.
So that, I mean, he never answered any of my pages. Remember pagers?
I never had a pager, actually.
I
But I
never
do remember
had one, but
pagers.
he had one.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
Out that
Yikes.
ass name too. I still remember his name. Fucker.
What an asshole. Fuck you.
Yep.
Answer your pager.
So
Admit to your crimes.
admit what you did. It was the fact that he never admitted to my face what he did. He couldn't even face me. That's what made me think that
It
he
was that
did.
worse, yeah. I would think the same as well.
And even if he only did it for a second, he still did it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell my mom because I would have been locked up in fucking Rapunzel's Tower of
Tower.
Doom for the rest of my life.
Good lord. Is your mom that kind of strict about that?
Oh yeah, she would have. I have no idea what she would have done. It would have been my fault. I would have been the
It would have been your
temptress.
fault. Okay, great.
It
We're
would have been
blaming
my fault. I shouldn't have
blaming the
been.
survivors here.
I shouldn't have
Wonderful.
been drinking. I shouldn't have been wearing that bikini. I shouldn't
Mm.
have been wearing tight pants. I shouldn't have been out at night. I shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have even been
Mm.
kibitzing around with boys, or she called it gallivanting. Um, Even though, like, I don't know.
Gallivanting.
I was mostly a good kid. Yeah, she would be like, "Where were you gallivanting off around town with boys?" And it's like I'd be at the library. Okay.
Uh, uh,
I was
you're,
under constant like accusations, and that's one of my biggest triggers is being accused of something that I didn't do. So it gave
yeah, I'd
me this
imagine so.
huge huge attitude. By the time I was in 10th grade, it was like, fuck it. If I'm going to get in trouble for it, I'm going to do it. So I started skipping school, um, getting a little bit more intimate with boyfriends. Yeah. So being
rebellious.
being rebellious because she was such a prick about my everyday
Yeah,
anything. She was all up in my business about
that's what
everything.
happens.
No parties, no
Tip
sleepovers,
to
nothing.
parents out there: have an open dialogue with your child and be a safe person to talk to, or risk pushing them away.
Yeah, no,
Because
she was
the
not a
higher
safe
you hold
person.
on, the more off the fucking rails they're gonna be.
Like she's evangelical.
Oh,
So
alright, that explains everything. Good night, everyone.
when she married my dad, he was a pastor.
Yeah.
So I was a pastor's kid for, the first half of my life. That
Mm-hmm.
was
Have you been in
awful.
Vegas your whole life?
No. We moved around a lot. First my dad was in the Navy, and then he
Wild.
just couldn't keep a job. He was an alcoholic.
Mm.
And my then
Great. Love that.
then my
Absent
mom,
father.
he was there though. We didn't know he was a drunk. It was
What?
the weirdest thing. I didn't know.
That's wild.
Not until I was like out of the house did I know.
Super wild.
Yeah, they divorced when I was 13. So I got my glasses, my braces, and a divorce all in the same year. Super fun.
Hmm.
Trying to think of like the next thing when I was much younger. Ah, I remember. It was they kept taking me to doctors to find out what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
Um, and so they took me to a podiatrist because there was something wrong with my feet, they said,
Sure.
that I couldn't walk in a straight line, that I would just walk, trip, walk, trip, walk, trip, walk, trip.
Sure.
And there was no real physical reason why my ankles were rolling and all of that. But I do suspect like that I'm hypermobile,
Possibly.
just a little bit. So that would explain all my joint issues. But yeah, no, the doctor said we can't find anything wrong with her. She's just naturally clumsy. Sorry. So that was fun. And I'm sure some of it was the ADHD. I just wasn't looking before getting up and walking, you know.
Right.
Even as an adult, I'll still bounce out of my chair like an idiot and just like knock a whole thing of stuff over.
Nero really wants my empty bowl of rice here.
Let him have it.
Here you go. Hi, Megs. Welcome in. How are you doing? So it sounds like you moved around a lot. So stability of the household and of your friendships, if you had any, were just kind of like non-existent. Yeah. It didn't help.
There were some kids that I played with, but it was mostly I had to hang out with my older brother.
Yeah.
If he would tolerate me.
Right.
We were pretty close growing up, though. Like, we've got a good bond. So
That's good.
He tortured me, but he also was like the nicest one.
Tortured you?
Oh yeah, like he tied me to the futon, force fed me popcorn until I puked. Like
the fuck?
Right? I know, weird. Just weird.
It's really fucking weird.
He was super passive aggressive. Like mom would say, everyone clean the room, or no one's going to get pizza tonight, or whatever,
Sure.
or we're not going to the library, or whatever.
Right.
For cleaning there would be. And he'd sit on the couch, flicking things onto the floor and being like, I don't care if we go. I don't care if we go. If you care, you'll pick it up. And so he would like do things to antagonize us while we tried to clean. It was awful. He doesn't do that anymore though. He's kind of like a chaotic good now.
He's a chaotic good now?
I think so.
Okay.
I still think he likes to fuck with people, but in a way that motivates them to be better for themselves.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just blunt with people, and I'll tell people how it is if they want me to. I'll be like, I will not hold back if you let me. I'll tell you exactly how you fix this situation. Or maybe some damn good advice on how to, like, start maneuvering yourself.
Right. You know, one of the wonderful things about giving advice is it's so easy to give. It's so hard.
A lot harder to take it. It's a lot harder to apply it as well.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't even know what advice you need.
True.
Sometimes you're looking for, like, what do I do in this situation versus should I even be in this situation?
Right. I mean, a lot of times when I'm talking to my friends, I'm unintentionally giving them advice because they'll talk about a situation. I'm just like, geez, like, why are you even bothering with this person? Like, you know,
right?
Like,
right?
I feel bad for suggesting that sometimes because, like, I get it. People's relationships with others are important to them, but I'm just like, what is this doing for you, though? Like, you don't have to have. Sorry, go on.
Oh, especially if you hear it multiple times from the same person and they just don't want to change anything.
Hello.
Did Daddy leave? Yeah, Daddy went to Magic tonight. I'm doing everybody's bedtime tonight. You want something to eat? You gotta make toast or wait until I'm done talking and I'll make something. I'm hungry now. Well, what can you eat now while you wait? What do you want me to make? I want you to make me some maybe like some.
If you need to go mommy mode for a while, we can go. Be right back.
Little pizza. You want a little pizza? Totally. Bring it here and I'll open it for you. And then you know what to do. And then I'll cut it for you. We got a whole thing worked out.
You got a whole system?
Yeah.
How old are your children?
So the youngest is 7, the middle is 9, the oldest is 11 going on 20.
Is that the 7?
That's the 7.
Yeah. I was about to say, she's like very shy, very underspoken. Like, aw.
I don't think she realized I was on stream until she was in front of the camera.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I forgot to warn her. At least she's wearing a shirt. I suppose I'll be thankful
That would
for
be
that.
very bad. I would probably quickly switch scenes if that was the case.
End stream! End stream!
Yeah, basically end stream.
Delete the VOD!
Delete the VOD. Fucking, we have to go scrap it all.
You can't find any little pizzas. I know Daddy bought 2. Give me.
Yeah,
give me
go.
3 minutes.
Go. Do your mama thing. My problem is I have relationships with people to please them. I get nothing out of it. Usually I'm treated like shit because of wanting to be a people pleaser at any cost. Honestly, Megs, listen, I go a few different ways when it comes to like advice for people. Because it's just like, you know, it's like, Waba, I am X. You know, I can only do X for people. I'm like, okay, great. Do X for me. You know, and when I say that, I mean in like kind of like a sarcastic way. Like, fine, you want to be a people pleaser? Chat in my chat about mental health stuff, and you want to fucking really people please me? Take care of yourself. Set good boundaries with others. That'll really please me. I'll be very pleased, and I'll be very proud of your progress. You want to people please? Great. Take care of yourself first, and prioritize yourself first, and prioritize your life first. So you'd be like, hey Waba, I missed stream today because I had to do life thing. And I'd be like, good for fucking you for prioritizing life thing over stinky little Twitch chat. Like, life's gotta come first, Megs, you know? And it sucks. It super sucks to be treated like shit, for sure. It super sucks to be treated like shit because what happens is that people will take advantage of us, the people pleasers, because I'm a people pleaser as well, you know? I used to be a bigger people pleaser than I am currently. I would do all these things for all these people, like perform all these acts of service for them. And what would I get in return? Fucking nothing. Not even a thanks. Like, just, oh, Henry, I need you to go drive me into place again. Like, come on, you're my friend. You know, you should do this because you're my friend. And I'm like, maybe I should not do this and make boundaries for myself and say, fuck off. Pay me. Or something. Like, what am I getting out of this? So, it's okay. It's okay to say that to yourself and ask yourself, what am I getting out of this relationship? Hell, I had a whole rant at the beginning of this stream about the transactional nature of fans x content creators, which is just the short version is, it's okay that it's a transactional experience. You're getting a value of entertainment and education out of my streams, and I'm getting your viewership and your support, whether that's either financial or just time-wise. And I appreciate it all the time. So yeah, this is why I tried telling this guy, like, I'm not a chaser. Exactly. I'm not going to keep chasing you. My boundary, oh no, I will not continue to overextend myself without appropriate compensation. Exactly. Like, oh, you want me to chase you? It's not going to happen. Like, look at me. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to run after you. Like, you either communicate to me clearly or you don't. It's not going to happen. Exactly. Not going to fucking happen. Hello. Welcome back.
I have the toppings ready for when the toast pops.
Beautiful. You cannot manipulate me to move myself for you. Exactly. But I will manipulate Megs the Short. I will manipulate Megs the Short to be a people pleaser, to please me by taking care of themselves and setting proper boundaries and prioritizing life first. Then I will be very pleased. I'll be very happy. And I will cheer for you. And I will scream.
Boundaries are
like,
awesome.
Fuck yeah. Boundaries are super awesome. It is never a bad thing to set a boundary. All right? That's how I am with my friends, Megs. That's how I am with my friends. My friends are like, I am this. I'm like, great, be that for me by doing this thing of taking care of yourself. Like, it's almost like the fucking brat sub energy. I'm not trying to sexualize it, but it's just similar in this way. It's like the brat sub energy because there's just like, it's just like, make me, but also the like, you know, I'll do anything for you, daddy. And I'm like, okay, we'll do anything for me? Yes, daddy. Great. I need you to brush your teeth. I need you to drink some water. I need you to get some food for yourself. And then they're like, wait, no, not like that. You said you'd do anything for me, wouldn't you?
Yeah, take care of yourself. Oh,
Fucking take
it's
care
the
of
worst.
yourself, little one. Like,
Hate it.
good lord. Brat for life, though, in any situation. Mm-hmm.
It's actually really triggering when you raise your kids to have boundaries. If you were raised without them or
What?
raised with the
Really?
wrong ones.
Tell me. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
So
Explain.
they have, bodily autonomy
Right.
and
Yeah.
they expect to be spoken to respectfully and they don't
Absolutely.
like it when people touch them if they haven't been given consent. They're
Yeah.
just they're really they respect themselves, I suppose is what I mean to say.
Okay.
And sometimes when you're just trying to like get them to do what you want them to do, even though like that's not the goal of being a parent, sometimes
Right.
you fall into the trap and things have to get done or whatever and you just tell them to do it and they're like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And you just want to yell back
Reasonable.
and it
It's hard not to sometimes.
like the whole talking back thing, you got to completely throw that shit out the window. Everything you've learned about talking back is wrong.
That's true.
And it's triggering for me to hear my children talking back, especially if it sounds disrespectful, like if say the middle child decided to use the F word for something.
Sure.
Not that he's saying, F you, but I
Right.
think one time he actually did call me a bitch, which is not cool for a 9-year-old. Like,
No,
not
not
cool.
really.
So he's never done that again.
Right.
But you got to learn where the boundaries are.
Yeah. Like, hey, you hurt
'Cause, like,
mommy when you said that.
I have
You know.
boundaries too. I'm not gonna let people
Exactly.
treat me like that.
It works both ways, and I think it. Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even consider this, but this is a very interesting and poignant thing to think about. That it's like it does kind of work both ways, right? You know, like you
Oh
have your
yeah.
boundaries and they have their boundaries, and maybe they don't want to do something. Like, I don't want to do that, mommy, and I'm like, and it'd be like, well,
What are
this is something that does need to get done, though.
Did you burn the toast? Okay. Do you know that I can scrape the burn part off? Okay, let's do that.
But then I will.
We'll just go get a new plate. I'll put it on the new plate. No big deal. See? It comes right off. Is that okay? All right. She's just recently got braces and her
Oh,
diet is very impacted by that. She already has
oh,
texture issues and sensory issues with
that
eating things.
sucks.
So now, half the stuff she used to enjoy eating, she can't eat it anymore.
Oh, that's super
So
sad.
she's just hangry all the time. It's so sad. Yes, baby. Can you get a chair?
I had to stand on it.
Go upstairs and get the step stool. Then get a chair.
Understandable.
Climb onto the countertop. Do that thing you guys do when you smell chocolate.
Also, that was my partner texting me. By the way, they're telling me that they're going on home now.
Okay.
Not the Jeffifa. Very sad. Very sad.
Oh no, the butter's not as warm as she likes it.
Oh no. Feels bad.
I try to do the nice, I try to do it just right.
Understandable. Try to make those concessions. But yeah,
I'm having a rough time, so.
yeah, it's a tricky.
You take some extra and spread it around. That'd be fine.
It's a tricky balancing act, you know.
I know, because you don't want to like do the wrong thing just because you feel sorry for them. Like concessionary sweets and this and that. Feeding sadness with food.
Yeah.
There are wrong turns you can make, I think, that make it so much harder for them later in life. That if you can correct them when
Absolutely.
you're young,
And, and
for
the other
one, bodily autonomy, they need to know it.
hmm the other thing is, like, it's not a point of argument, it's just like a point of discussion. Like, if they understand, concepts and terms, you can just be like, well, we need to do this because this is like what you're doing, or like this is like healthier for you, and like it's gonna help you out.
Oh yeah,
You
always
know,
reasons. Always reasons. I know people who are like, why do you bother explaining to your children why you need them to do what you need them to do?
why wouldn't you explain
And
to
I'm
your
like,
children
they're
what's going
not
on?
gonna do it. They're not gonna do
That's
it
me.
if they
That's me.
don't.
Sorry.
Okay, I was like freaking
I know. I
out.
saw you. I saw you. I'm sorry. That's us. They're cooking in the kitchen here.
Ugh. I'm like, all I can smell is burnt toast.
Oh, yeah. No, but like, yeah, seriously. I know I'm not a parent myself, and I probably shouldn't talk shit, but like, I talk a lot of shit regarding like parenting stuff because I'm just like,
Oh,
listen,
it's easy to talk shit,
like,
especially about someone else's
please,
parenting.
please, like, treat your child with respect. I get that it can be frustrating, you know, raised voices might happen, but like, your
Right.
kid literally does not have the emotional skills
Right.
all the
They don't
time to like handle
self-regulate.
stuff. They don't have as much self-regulation skills. They don't have as many years experience as you do with
Right.
self-regulating. And for
I'm
parents
always
who
shocked when people expect so much out of children,
right,
more so than they expect even of themselves.
right.
You'll
And
see them completely lose it on their kid for losing it. And
the
it's like,
wild
who's
yeah.
the adult?
And the wild thing is that a lot of times like kids will rise to the expectations and like learn like crazy amounts of like emotional like coping at such early ages.
Right,
Um
exactly.
but if you don't ever talk about it, then it's just going to happen naturally, and it might just be like survival mode for the kid for a while.
Right. And
So
I've been in survival mode for a really long time. It's actually hard coming out of it.
yes,
I
imagine
still
so.
find myself doing survival mode things that I don't need to do anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I used to shut myself off from the family and just listen to my music for
Mm-hmm.
like hours because I just couldn't deal with anything. Although if the
The
kids are,
distress
they would
tolerance.
come to me, then I'm there, But if they weren't actively seeking me out, I was just trying to deal with life.
Because it's hard to deal with life when you're dealing with your own brain. You're fighting your own brain for that
Right.
autonomy. Because that's
Hmm.
really kind of what it is.
Well, you fight your own brain if you're okay. So, one
Hmm.
thing about my autism is I'm a PDA profile, so I have a pathological
What does that
demand
mean?
avoidance. It's
Oh, pathological
where,
advice. Right.
yes. So basically, even if I want to do something, if I tell myself to do it, I can't do it. I
That's
just
also
have
in
to
part
not
the
do it.
ADHD. I mean, that just fucking just goes hand in hand.
Right. You're just like, I ain't doing that shit.
I ain't doing that, and
I
I'm
don't
not
care who
motivated for it.
said. Even if I said, yeah, I'm not, I'm just totally
Do-
demotivated. I'll find the
dopamine
motivation to
not
do
found.
anything else.
Yeah.
Dopamine not found, that's
Dopamine
right.
not fucking found for this activity. Thank you.
Right. So, there's times when I've definitely burnt out, and I didn't
Yeah.
know what autistic burnout
Autistic
was
burnout.
at the
Yeah.
time. I just thought I was broken,
Yeah. Aw.
but I'm not.
No.
And now that I have proper support at home and a partner who's trying to understand instead of just getting angry, I'm
Yeah.
not in shutdown mode anymore. Even though I'm still hesitant to like join the family for some things because I'm just trained to have that cautious, don't make waves response.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a long time to unlearn that. I basically married my mom, unfortunately.
Yikes.
Like, right? And he doesn't want to be like that, so
Taking steps to not be like that.
he's not being like that anymore. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad that he
I
is.
think it's I think it's super rare what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I know that people can love each other, but then the guy just doesn't, or whoever the abuser is, doesn't want to recognize that they're an abuser or do anything about it. They just want to ask for forgiveness all the time. But my husband knew that I wasn't going to be accepting it anymore. Made it very clear.
Good.
And he listens. And I don't know how often that really happens where people make meaningful change.
It's rare. Change
It's
is
pretty
hard.
rare. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm still reserving part of myself. I'm not giving my all to him still, because I'm still shattered into a million pieces from what he did.
Yeah.
I know that if things continue the way they are, then we will be able to build back.
Right.
I don't know if it'll be better or stronger, but it'll be back. So what,
It's very hard to rebuild trust after it's been broken.
You have to know that I forgive people rather easily if I think they're sincere. But if you fucked me over, especially more than once, and especially repeatedly, I don't trust you ever again.
Right.
So here I am in a position of trying to trust my husband, because if I can't try to do that, there's no point in trying anything else. If you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship. So he has to do everything he can to not break my trust anymore, ever again.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to promise me this will never happen again. And he's like, I can't. And I was like, you have to. You have to just pretend this is the line in the sand that you won't cross to yourself.
I mean, really, it's just a boundary of respect towards you, you know?
Right. And if I can't have that one measly boundary, what do we have?
Yeah. What's a relationship without trust and communication, pretty much?
So because he couldn't promise me that, I actually had to make extra stipulations on staying together. And he had to go to the marriage counseling. He had to do the psychiatrist of his own and a therapist, and that he had to be attending support groups for partners with ADHD and autism, because there's actually a good support group here for that.
That's awesome.
Right. And my final caveat was we have to move to be closer to my family. So he's moving heaven and earth to move us back before the end of the summer, and it's not even financially in the cards to do so. We're going to take a hit to do it, but I need emotional support. I need familial support.
I agree. It really does sound like you need your family to be there for you, because just in case he flakes out, you don't want to be kind of stuck in Vegas, so to speak.
Right. I need options. So I need him to know that I have options.
Even if you never use them.
Like, you know what? If you do this, I'm going to walk out the door. I'm going to take the children with me. We're going to go such and such a place where, maybe you don't know where that place is, but it'll be safe and, secure and whatever. But we won't be around to watch you have a hissy fit.
Yeah.
It's horrible for the children. It's horrible for me. And it's just ripping every fiber of our being apart. It's just so toxic.
Yeah.
So it's just been such a huge upheaval the last 5 years of my life.
I imagine. I mean, a lot of marriage counseling, at least how I was taught how to do marriage counseling, is literally you need to ask the question at the start of it and just be like, listen, what are we here for? Are we here to make this relationship work, or are we here to break this relationship? And if we're here to make it, are you prepared to commit to at least 6 months, of therapy, and really open up your communication to one another and be completely honest, raw, truthful? Because if not, leave, get out right now.
Right, exactly. And he's done that. He's been truthful, even though he knew that maybe it would hurt my feelings.
Oh well.
Um, but right, that's
Feelings are
why
gonna
we're
get
here
hurt.
to talk it through.
Yeah.
And actually, he was voicing some things in therapy that he shouldn't have been talking about. He should have been talking about that stuff with his own therapist.
Sure.
Like the main example early on in the therapy was he's like, okay, so we've done a lot of talking about you, but when is it my turn? When do I get to talk about how you hurt me? And I was like, never. You don't ever get to talk about that now. From before, like when I was reacting to the abuse, the fact that I wasn't being a loving wife, like you can't hold that against me at all. Like we got to just let that shit go. And I don't know how you're going to do it, but get your therapy in. But I'm not going to
Yeah.
apologize for being me and being a victim.
Survivor.
Right. So I couldn't believe that he wanted to talk about all the ways in which I hurt him. So I was like, when have I ever done anything malicious toward you or to hurt your feelings or to tear you down or any of that? When have I ever? And he's like, I guess you haven't. And I was like, well, there you go. That's when we're going to talk about what I've done to you, is when I've done something that's truly hurt you and was meant to hurt you.
Right. I think it's interesting that you set that boundary in therapy, because normally as a therapist you have to be very careful and make sure you set proper boundaries and just be like, we're here to talk about the relationship. If you have individual
Right.
gripes, you need to go to individual counseling.
Right. Well, he was still upset about things I did to embarrass him, things related to my autism.
Well, such as what?
That I embarrassed him in public. Well, one time we were at PetSmart, and I'm just a really impulsive person at this point. He's 29,
Sure.
I'm 21. A massive age difference, especially emotionally.
He's 8 years older than you.
He's 8 years older than me. He's in the next part of his life where he's turning middle-aged, and I'm still a young 20 having my bar fun,
Right.
So he what was the point of this story? Shit.
Your autism was embarrassing him or something?
Oh, right. So we were at PetSmart, and they have these doggy biscuits at
Sure.
the checkout. I don't own a dog.
Right.
I just wanted to see what they tasted like.
Fair.
And so without thinking, it was literally like the second it popped into my brain, I did it, and I popped it in my mouth and I chewed it. And the cashier just kind of like had this shocked horror look on her face. And my fiance at the time, now my husband, he was just like, I have no idea what the fuck just happened. Why
I
did
love
you
you.
do that? And I was like, I don't
They
know.
wanted to know what it tasted like.
It wasn't bad. I've always wanted to know what they tasted like. Even as a little kid, they look like biscuits. They look like cookies.
And they do.
They do, So it's that kind of thing that he wanted to like hash out, and I was just like, this is not the place or the time. This is not even remotely appropriate.
Yeah.
Or we'd be talking with friends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that many friends, so we'd be talking with his friends, and we would be out at a restaurant, and say somebody says, oh, I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, this song's my favorite.
Right.
And then say something pops out of my mouth like, oh, I fucking hate that band, that's the worst band I've ever heard, but that's so cool, what's the song that you like? And he was like mortified that I'd had an opinion that wasn't supportive of the other person's likes or dislikes, as
Not
if that
all
has
opinions have to be positive.
with anything. I know, like,
What?
I'm not allowed to have. I was super cheerful about it. I was like, oh, I fucking hate those guys, but what's your favorite song? You know what I mean? I'm still engaged in the conversation. But apparently you're not supposed to say that? I don't know.
You're allowed to say that? I mean, I'm also one autistic leading another autistic, so probably I'm not the best.
Right, I don't know if we're supposed to be taking advice from conversations from each other. But I say the more people communicate like us, the better.
Yeah,
it'll be a
why
lot
not?
less confusing.
Deadass.
But he also he slowly wore me down over the years with his like weird jokes where he would joke about something serious, but then he'd be joking.
What do you mean?
So he would
What?
say something like, oh, like I broke my phone, and his phone would be totally fine because he was just trying to like fake me out or something. And I remember this is another
Weird attention seeking?
super, I don't know, like he was just trying to like fool me to be
Why?
funny. But I don't find those jokes to be funny because I'm really gullible and I believe what you're saying to me, especially if I love you and you're supposed to be my partner and you wouldn't want me to look stupid. So why
That's...
wouldn't I believe what you're saying?
Yeah.
So there's this one day I come home, I'm so sick of his stupid jokes. And he's laying on the floor and he goes, "Oh, babe, I threw my back out." And I was like, "Oh, yeah? How'd you do that?" Thinking it's another joke. And he's like, "Well, I was making toast and when I bent over, my back just went right out and then I crawled in here." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm going to go to the gym and I'll see you in a couple of hours." And I left because I thought he was joking. He wasn't joking. So the one time I didn't believe him, he wasn't joking. He made a lot less
What?
of those jokes.
Why
going
was he
forward.
joking about that shit though? Like it wasn't even funny. He wasn't being obvious. If he wasn't being obviously sarcastic about it, then it is
Wasn't
super not
obvious.
funny.
He would come home and say things like, "I quit my job," or "I got fired," or
I'd be like, what the
like
fuck?
he would say crazy things just to
That's
get a rise out of me.
girl, run. That's emotional manipulation.
But he
All
doesn't
right.
do it anymore because I told him how uncomfortable it
Why the
made me and
fuck is
how
he 8
upset I
years
was.
older than you, but he acts like he's a fucking 12-year-old?
Don't know. I don't know. His dad
Hi.
acted like a 12-year-old probably.
Yes, that is a cat that you just put your keys on its head, sitting in your chair. It's going to continue sitting in your chair with the keys on your head. It's offended.
Hello?
The keys moved.
Dad's at Magic.
What's for supper then?
Whatever you make it to be. There's leftovers and there's sandwiches.
Hello,
and
chat. It's Frankie. Frankie's home. Come here. Give it to me.
I'll have random children coming in asking me about food.
As long as the random children are dressed.
So far, so good.
Look at this cat.
Fluffy.
Look at this cat.
There was something going on at the end of the block just now. Like when I arrived at the street.
That's not
There
good.
was a whole lot of gaslighting and emotional abuse going on.
The fire
Sounds like it.
department went in, but not
I'm
like,
surprised you're still together then.
not like the fire
Yeah.
people.
I literally walked out the door and I flew home to Ohio for 3 weeks. I was like, I need to get the fuck away from you. I
Yeah.
can't.
Fuck that. Fuck all that.
Because at that point, he was already in his, like, nice guy mode where he was like, you know, I'll do anything. I'm sorry. I love you. We can make this work. Blah, 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 blah. And I was having none of it. I was so sickened just by looking at him at that point. But he's changed so drastically, and I don't know if I can trust it. You know, chat, like, I don't know. I could be really dumb for hanging around.
It's possible to change, and like, you know, if he's making efforts to actually be a better person and is going through therapy and stuff and changing as a person, that's great.
And not just as a person, as a dad. He's a totally different dad now. Like, he's a
Listen.
much better dad.
And that's great. And I'm glad he is for you. But this is like this is my transference to you as like a person who's like giving advice to other people in these kind of situations. You don't have to be there
Right.
for him through his personal transformation.
Right.
And you
don't.
and you're doing a
I could be
fucking
gone.
lot by being here for him and with him. And I understand
I
that kids
was-
obviously make the situation much, you know, trickier, but still,
Yeah.
like, and
Kids
it's
that
rough
need
because
stability, you know.
yeah, because you want your kids to have stability, and change is always rough on just being autistic and just the kids and everything. But like, you know, I know you said you know, but it's like it's a different thing to say you know and another thing to apply it.
I even looked up like women's shelters in the area. I was so convinced I would have to leave.
I mean,
I was Googling divorce lawyers and
Yeah.
trying to find the best ones.
I mean, listen, you can still make that decision to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Even if things are going good. In fact, if anything, oftentimes when it comes to, abusive situations, a lot of counselors will recommend, among other things, that you leave when things are good.
Right.
So it's like less expected.
Safer.
And it's safer, more than just like a go bag. It's more like a change the fucking locks.
Right, exactly.
I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe he's able to communicate healthily enough that you can just be like, listen, as soon as you move to closer to family and stuff,
right,
and just be like, listen, I don't think this is. You can, if you don't have to, but you can.
Yeah.
You have that power.
That's been the goal all along. Is in the back of my mind, I'm like, if the other shoe drops, I'll have my family with me. And my brother was actually telling me that I was being manipulative by not being fully disclosing my intentions to my husband at the time.
But
I was like, I can't tell him that I'm still thinking of leaving him because then he'll never agree to move to Ohio with me. So there was a point in time when I had no intention of continuing the relationship, but every intention of getting to Ohio, no matter how I had to do it legally. But my intentions changed over time as we were going through the therapy together, and I've not allowed him to do any manipulative bullshit in therapy. I read the Why Does He Do That by Lundy Buncraft.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like walks you through how to hold up your end of an abusive relationship if the person is willing to change.
Right.
So I still have to hold my boundaries. I still have to, remind him sometimes that, it's like reminding a toddler, hey, calm down. But he hasn't.
You shouldn't have to do that, though.
He hasn't lost his temper at all, but he has expressed annoyance, which is a trigger for me now. So I hate that he might have to walk on eggshells a little bit for me, but he kind of needs to. He needs to watch his step, every step. He cannot fuck this up, because I'll be gone.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, though, will I really leave, if he does something crazy again? And I have to think that if my family was around me, yeah, I would. I'd figure it out.
Everyone needs to watch their step around loved ones. It's called respect. Yeah. Yeah.
And I already told him I wasn't going to lie to my family anymore to protect him. That if he was going to do something douchey, everybody was going to fucking hear about it.
Yeah.
We'll see how that feels. Having people know your business. That's the only way he ever felt comfortable doing that shit to me, is because nobody knew about it. Not even my best friend. Because she's married to his best friend.
That's wild. It's fucking wild. Your situation is wild and concerning.
It's all wild. My therapist actually cried when I told him my life story. I was like, Jesus, dude.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot to be a therapist, trust me. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't begrudge him crying. I appreciate that he cares. Yeah. I had no idea that my story was so horrifying, though.
Fair enough.
It's like that moment when you realize you're ADHD, and because you're like, talking to a friend and they're like, oh, my kid needs to go on ADHD meds because they do this, 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 and this. And you're like, what do you mean? That's totally, everybody does that.
Yeah.
Right? And then you realize everybody doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And have you ever had a relationship moment where you said something like, yeah, and then he called me like literally 50 times until I came home to change the baby's diaper, and everybody stops talking and they're like, he what, wait, what now? He did what?
Yeah.
Like, girl, that's stalker shit. Why the fuck are you still married?
Also not wanting to take responsibility for your child, like, yikes.
It was gross, fam. It was super gross.
Super gross.
Like, I was disgusted. It got to the point where he told me at one point during an argument that if I had died during childbirth, he would have given the kids up for adoption. Like, he fucking said that shit to me. How fucking crazy is that? Who even thinks of that? We weren't even talking about that. He just, like, threw it out there. Just crazy shit. So I
hate this for you. I hate this whole entire situation.
I love that I haven't had to deal with his shit in the last year.
I mean, that's nice and all, but like...
But it's still a lot of shit that I have to get through.
Yeah. Can I just say, like, growing up autistic and undiagnosed autistic is already traumatizing enough.
Yeah.
But now growing through this relationship together, autistic and ADHD, and this guy is a fucking manipulator. Like, nah.
Yeah, it was.
He has no energy.
I almost wrecked myself over it, you know?
Yeah.
Until I
girl
just
run.
Decided I couldn't do that anymore.
Girl, run. Just as soon as things get settled, when you move again, just be like, all right, peace, get out, goodbye.
I do think that there is some growth that could happen if we were apart, you know?
I mean, if you want to frame it that way, and if that's the safest way to frame it, to get him out, then sure, frame it that way. And it's probably true, but also, like, I don't know. My POV is just like, get out in any means fucking possible.
What are the chances that he can have a change of frame of reference? Like, if he can shift his thinking completely.
Again,
he's already agreed to unschool the kids because the public school thing didn't work out.
Yeah.
He lets. That's such a weird thing.
I don't think it's.
He do my thing now.
Yeah.
Without bothering me.
Now he does.
Right. He didn't used to. He used to actually sabotage everything I've ever done. Now he's actually supporting what I'm doing. It's weird. It's really fucking weird. I can't.
It's weird because you've dealt with the worst of him, and now that he's growing to be a better person, it's emotional whiplash. Because
I almost can't let go of who I remember him to be because he was such.
Because the bad things are always going to stand out more to your brain. Your brain loves. This is just a fact about brains. Brains love latching on negative shit, which is why negative newsreels get so much more viewership than positive like news shit.
Well, your viewership should be through the roof today. Holy fuck.
I wish. I want 100. I've told people before, I want like a couple thousand people here giving a shit about mental health. Deadass.
And there will be. There will be. You're creating a really unique community here.
Thank you. I like to think so.
There's a lot of different mental health, wellness bullshit going on and around, but
there is.
I feel like the real talk that happens here, actually, it feels really genuine. Like people feel like they can actually say the shitty shit that they went through.
Yeah, because it is genuine. I want people to say this shit. Feel free to share this shitty shit. Just ask first. That's it. That's all I want. I want you to read the room and ask. It's
validating to hear someone else who's going through the shit too.
Yeah, no, it's super.
And I don't want to sit here and go, "Oh, he's perfect now." And
no, I would probably kick you off. I'd be like, "All right, lady, tell me the fucking truth."
No, I'm not gonna say he's perfect, and I'm not gonna say that I think that things are gonna work out. I don't know where we're gonna be in 5 years. I really fucking don't.
Listen, I try to give very ethical advice, but when it comes to shit like this, I'm always on the survivor's side of things. It's just like, listen, you don't have to go through this. You don't have to be there for him while he's doing his growth journey. Your brain's going to attach to that past self of yourself.
I wasn't here to listen to his spiritual growth or personal. Yeah. You do that on your time. You have a therapist
for a reason, and he can do that on his own time away from you as well.
I don't want to process it with him.
And here's the other thing. Is the other point that I was going to make before is like, what the fuck does, and this is because this is how I think, is what the fuck does this relationship look like 10 years in the future? Let's say for all intents and purposes, he becomes your ideal relationship partner. Okay. You know, he treats you well. He respects you. He understands your ADHD, your autism. He treats the kids well. You know, everything's going fucking, you know, he's doing everything that you would want a partner to do.
Right. 10 years from now? Okay, so that would put our oldest in college, probably, and the youngest would be, like, just leaving home, maybe turning 18.
But could you imagine this? Would your... I'm trying to ask, I guess, a leading question and trying to get a definitive yes or no. But, and I feel bad for doing this, and it's just an interviewer in me. But like, wouldn't the kind of like the shroud of his past at all potentially sully any kind of future happiness that you would like to have with a better version of him?
I worry that I'll never fall in love with him again. That is a worry of mine.
And what if you don't?
I'm not in love. Well, if I don't, then we're not going to be together.
You kick him out?
I'll leave.
With the kids?
With the kids, yeah. We'll file for custody. It'll be joint custody, and at least through the therapy, we'll have learned to communicate.
Sure. Communication's always important.
But my fear is that if we do separate, he will use the children against me.
Oh, certainly he might, because that's... in a way, it's his version of survival mode. His version of survival mode is being abusive, being an asshole.
Right. That's how he gets his way. That's how he validates how he's feeling. It's how he gets other people to pay attention to him.
Exactly. That's his attention seeking. It's inappropriate as fuck, but that's his way.
Right. He would just go into one of his little hissy fits, and if we didn't all stand at attention and wait for the hissy fit to be over or pitch in and help fix whatever his fucking problem was, then, there would be hell to pay. Kids crying and him screaming, and he punched a hole in the wall at one point. It was fucked up.
Girl, run! This is why I'm doing this tough fucking line of questioning here.
I know it sounds idiotic that I'm still in this situation. And my therapist still has a lot of concern for me. To be in this situation, and my mother does too. She's a narcissist, but she's calmed down over the years. And once I opened up to her about what was going on, she's able to privately message me on encrypted app and all that stuff. So I can have private conversations with her about stuff, but I know that she's there for me if I need her to be. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if it's the right thing.
I think you'll know what the right thing is.
He won't be able to keep this shit up forever.
That's something to consider.
Sincere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if he's not sincere, you can't keep up a facade for more than X months.
I give it 6 more months if he's not for real.
Yeah.
He'll fucking flip the fuck out. He'll forget his meds. He'll, sabotage himself in some way.
Probably.
and he'll
Which is
get to experience me leaving, and that's gonna suck for him because I don't think I can come back after
I
that.
wouldn't come back either because you set the boundary by saying this is the line, and if this happens, I'm out. Which means you got to be out forever, gone from your life.
Gone.
You're not.
It
You're
would
not
just be
worth.
over.
You're not worthy of him. He already proved his non-worthiness.
Yeah, yeah, he fucked up bad, and like I remember in the first when he was first getting therapy, he would like want pats on the head and biscuits for like every stupid little improvement or
For basic respect.
revelation. Right, for basic fucking respect. And I'm just sitting here like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not here to be your fucking cheerleader, and I won't be. So you can take that shit right back to your therapist and get your head pats over there. If she makes you feel
Yeah.
good, great. But if she's not challenging you to grow and to challenge yourself to grow, like, so that you can eventually take the lead here,
Then you're not
so
going
I don't
anywhere.
have to keep telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be part of it. I just want you to fucking fix it. But I wish he had never done any of this to begin with. There are so many evil, disgusting moments that we've had that I can't even begin to cover them all in the short amount of time that we have. But I'd be willing to go into more details. Look, Jesus. Do you ever
Yeah.
think of it, like, have you ever seen a relationship this bad recover? Like, have you ever actually seen an abuser change? I don't know that I
Do you
have.
want me to answer that question?
Yeah, I do. Because I want to know what the fuck I'm up against here.
All right, be blunt. You're gonna hate me forever. You're never gonna talk to me again. But
You know
I
that's true.
think you're fucking joking yourself. I really
Yeah.
think you're pulling your own leg. I
Yeah.
really do. I think you're trying to convince yourself that you can work it out and you can survive, but
Right.
it's very clear that you're in survival mode right now, and you're just like, I'm gonna get by and do what I can to do best by my kids and all that other good stuff. Like,
Right.
this does not work out long term, and it's great for him. But if he stays with you, think of it this way as well. In a weird kind of way, you're a trigger for him for being
Oh,
a
yeah.
piece of shit in his survival mode. Because
Yeah.
he's like, I
Absolutely,
directed
I
shit at you
trigger him.
before, and I know that I can get away with it again. Except you can't really get away with it because you have boundaries now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're kidding
Right.
yourself to say that this is going to work out long term. And you
No,
can hate me
I
for
would
that,
agree
but
with you. I'm not going to hate you for that because I think it's the honest to God truth. I think there's no way in hell that he's not going to fuck this up. And I feel shitty saying that.
and you don't have to. Here's the other thing, as
But
I was trying to say before, you don't have to wait for him to fuck it up.
no, I don't
you
even
know.
have to be here at all right now. I could just say, you know what? This is exhausting. And I'm just too tired to do this. If I want to do that. If
But
I
that's
want
why
to
you need
say
the
that,
emotional
I can say
support.
that. But I need the support. Yeah.
I think if you're
Like-
gonna do it, you need to make a plan. You need to make a very solid plan. This is something that therapists will do with you when it comes to like counseling someone who's going through an abusive situation, is making plans, getting a go bag, understanding where the kids are going, how are the kids going, making travel plans, how fast can you book a plane ticket, all this stuff. Do your parents know? Do other supports where you're going to be going know? You have a house set up for you? Do you have a job set up for you?
Right.
You
No,
can't.
I
We're not
don't.
going to solve this tonight. We're not going to solve this tonight. But this is stuff
Yeah.
that you have to like genuinely put some solid thought into if that's the decision that you're going to make.
Right.
If you're just going to escape, or are you going to wait it out, get over there first, and then say, all right, fuck off.
I have to at least wait it out. I have to give it at least that much time because there's no way I can do this 3,000 miles away from my family with literally no support except
Where
for
is your
his
family?
mom. My family all lives in Ohio, every single one of them.
Ohio's not real, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Sorry, it's the joke. Michigan isn't
nice.
real?
Michigan isn't real. This is true. I've lived there. It's definitely fake. So, knowing that going forward actually puts me at a lot more peace, I think, because now I can just make my plans and not feel guilty when things just fall apart. Like, it's not going to be my fault. I think that's what I'm really aiming for here is I just don't want any of it to be my fault.
North Dakota's just a myth. True.
I want to know that I did everything I could to make a stable family home for my children. And I can be loving towards my husband as long as he's not being crazy pants. Like, legit, he scared me, you know?
He sounds scary, honestly.
He is scary. He's a big guy.
That doesn't help.
And the last time he lost his temper, it's like his voice just, like, he just fucking lost it. Like, couldn't even... Have you ever seen a grown man just screech? It's just, it's
Yes,
really
it's terrifying.
fucking disturbing as all hell. All my kids were crying. Even the oldest was crying. I had the middle one, like, for 2 hours upstairs crying with me. It was just horrible.
If you need more convincing, do you want your children to continue to go through that? Like, I know you don't need more convincing, but, like,
that's
good
why
Lord.
I gave the ultimatum. I was
Yeah.
like, we're not ever doing this again. And he's like, I can't promise that. And I was like,
You
no,
have to promise
I don't
that,
think
or
you
you're gonna get the fuck
understand.
out.
Like, I'm never doing this again. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm never doing this again.
Right.
And, like, I will find the strength. I will figure it the fuck out. But we're never doing that again. So, you're right in the fact that I need a go bag. I need to have, you know, consultations when I get to where I'm going. Things like that. We've already decided we're not buying a house when we get there. We're just going to rent, so that works out in my favor as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah. The situation sounds exhausting. I'm probably talking about it does too. I'm sorry I pressed you so much, but I hope it wasn't harmful.
No, it's I'm not in tears, so we're good.
It's not my goal either. It's just I'm very personally passionate when it comes to, like, people in shitty relationships, because I've had nothing but friends in shitty relationships, and I've just been like, girl, run.
I know.
And then people are like, well, but I can change them. And
I don't think I can change shit. I think he needs to change if he's gonna change. I can't do shit to help him with that. And I made that very clear. So, I don't know. What's my timetable look like? What's your prediction?
Your timetable for the relationship?
Yeah, like, how much time do I have to get, like, all my documents in a row?
Get all your ducks in a row? I can't predict that. I mean, I think it depends. You said you're gonna go rent in Ohio.
Right.
But, you know, what would renting do for you? Would only you just be on the lease? You know, there's a lot of, like, little intricate things, and, like, how soon are you gonna be going to Ohio? You said by the summer.
Right, so like, July, I'm thinking. We've already started packing up. But I don't know, big gestures like that. That's part of the cycle, right? The kindness and the gestures.
All right, hold on. Hold the fuck up. I have my charts. I have my charts.
We need the wheel.
The wheel. That's vicious cycle.
What's
this one?
Idealize. Number 1. Here we are.
Where are we at? Where in the cycle are we? today.
We're in number one.
Idealize, a phase of immense flattery, gifts, and excessive attention. To appeal to your heart, weaken your defense mechanisms, and allow you to be drawn into a whirlwind romance without even realizing it. And then number 2, devalue. Admiration ceases to exist and is replaced by verbal and emotional abuse. This phase is characterized by cruel, degrading, and condescending remarks, often disguised as jokes. You said he was making fucking weird-ass jokes.
Weird-ass jokes that I kept asking him to stop. It's just crazy.
He needs to stop. He needs to fucking leave is what he needs to do. Victims feel confused. That's the point. Doubt themselves. That's the point. And develop low self-esteem. That's all the fucking point.
Right.
That's the point. They want to fucking confuse you.
I've been slowly regaining my self-esteem since joining Twitch. Just having all these great people like me.
Funny that.
Like, genuinely like me. Like, I'm actually an interesting person. Holy shit.
Yes, you are a genuinely interesting person, and I'm very glad we're having this chat.
He would make me feel like I was the most boring person in the world. Like, I would be talking, 5 minutes into me talking, he'd be like, you gotta stop talking. Like, no acknowledgement of what I talked about either. Just, he would just shut me down every single time. Sucked.
I'm going to 360 no-scope your man in a video game.
Headshot.
Headshot. Number 3, discard. This is where the victim's usefulness to the abuser has ceased. The abuser has found a new supply. Someone to replace the victim to fill all their needs. Has he cheated on you? The victim is tormented and thrown away in a love pair of them that never existed. Yes?
Yes. But not physically. He told me about
Doesn't
it.
matter, physical or
he had
emotional.
no reason. He had no reason to tell me about it. He hired one of those ladies online to like talk dirty to him while he, you know.
He called a sex phone line.
No, a video one.
Video sex phone line.
And he used our money to pay for it. Like,
he used your money to pay for it.
And then he told me about it for no fucking reason one day.
And then he told you. He was shoving it in your face.
Yeah.
He was basically shoving in your face, hey, guess what? I can emotionally manipulate you and tell you that I cheated on you, and you can't do shit about it because you're not going to leave because you're a little bitch.
Yeah, I stayed, and I even told him it didn't matter and that I didn't care. That I don't know. Dude.
Alright, let's see here. Plane tickets to Las Vegas. She's in Vegas. $200, chat. It's just $200 to send me. Field trip to Vegas, chat. Let's go.
So,
hello, my loving partner of 7 years, whom we have never cheated on each other or had an emotional manipulation bullshit stuff happen. My love. Love. It is so much work to cheat. Work to cheat.
Oh my god. So when he cheated, we were having a 7-year hiatus from having sex.
Hold on. Frankie just told me some stupid shit. Frankie said, why cheat when you can watch YouTube videos and learn that lesbians only exist because some women have low arches and can't wear high heels, and that's why lesbians exist, apparently. r/bad women's anatomy.
And r/not how girls work.
r/not how girls work. You can get that flight for cheaper if you check some of your casino websites. They got deals with the airlines. Thanks, Tom Bad. How's it going? Also, thank you for the follows. Core 10K, the Snap Australia, and Tom Badless Toils. Welcome in to the WoW fam. And thank you for the raids, Jane the Message and Celiance. I love you very much, and I appreciate you every fucking day.
Oh my god, Rainbow.
Bullshit post is the assumption
Yeah, it was really a weird flex for him to tell me that he cheated on me with some hooker online. It was very
Yes.
weird.
It's not a weird flex. It's an abusive manipulation flex of basically he was testing you, and he fucking knew. He had all the confidence in the world that you weren't gonna break up with him over it. And guess what? You proved him right.
Yeah, I didn't react at all. I didn't want him to have the satisfaction of it.
That's what my shitty abusive ex did. He literally claimed to have cheated on me. The person who he had claimed to have done stuff with actually rejected his advances because she liked me in an attempt to make me feel like I couldn't satisfy him the way I was supposed to. And when I dumped his ass, he called me a slut. Yes, obviously, Ribbon, you're a slut for not sucking his dick or whatever the fuck.
So we hadn't had sex in 7 years.
Love that line
Yeah, that whole line
of
So-
thinking.
Yeah, he got a vasectomy because I said I didn't want more kids. And I said I wasn't. Oh, what's she saying?
Because you know what? She's
He.
just gonna go do them for some other guy. That's the only reason she won't do it for you.
That if she does the sex thing, she's a slut. But if she doesn't do the sex things, she's also a slut, because that means she's just doing the sex things for someone else, and that makes her a double slut.
You know what rhymes?
What's that?
Slut no matter what.
Slut no matter what. Slut
Yeah,
no
that's
matter
going
what.
on a t-shirt.
And that's
think
why
I
I
need to
proudly fucking say I'm a slut. I'm a hoe.
No, you're not. You
I'm
get
not.
cold
I
all
got
the time.
cold. I get cold all the time outside. I'm not a hoe. Hoes don't get cold, but I am a slut. And I am proud.
The hoe in this.
I am a slut and I am proud. You are the hoe in this relationship and you don't wear the pants.
And to me, loyalty is one of the most important things in a relationship.
Loyalty,
So
trust,
he-
communication. Don't have any of that, no relationship. Friendship, romantic or otherwise. My ex cheated on
So
me. She claimed
I-
it's because she was poly, but that's only valid if all parties agree, bro.
Yeah. I don't think you can just say you're poly and then just sleep around. That's not how that works.
That does not works. That there's a lot of the straights are not okay. There's a lot of people out there who are like, but babe, we're poly, right? And then they go and sleep with the people they want to sleep with. But then babe also goes sleeps with people, and then all of a sudden they're mad because hey, you weren't supposed to sleep with people. Only I was supposed to have the fun in this poly relationship. I'm like, that's not how poly works, my friend.
You haven't even heard the wackiest part. Speaking of gay,
I'm a hoe and a slut, and it has nothing to do with my private parts. Yep, true.
I made a friend on Twitch who happens to be gay.
Is it
Or
me?
she's a lesbian.
Am I the friend? Oh.
No, she's a
Not me.
lesbian. And so he got it into
I'm
his
not a
mind that I was also a lesbian. And so he told me,
What does that
he's
accomplish?
like, I get it, babe. You're gay. And that's okay. And I love you. And we'll make it work. If you need to like explore that or like, it was the weirdest. And I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe I'm bi, but I haven't even like raised that question with myself seriously since college, so that we don't even need to go down that road. Yeah. Yeah, he spent a week trying to convince me I was actually a lesbian. It was so weird.
Why?
I have it on tape. Don't ask me why. I had to record it because it was so fucking crazy.
Good. Have it on tape. Jesus.
Just so that I could remind myself of how crazy it was. That's how you know someone's trying to make you crazy, is when you have to record their ass to like remember what they said, because they're gonna say they didn't say what they said. Straight up. So that was
I'm gonna
weird.
kill him.
It's so weird.
Anyone else in the Las Vegas area? Hi.
I feel very disconnected from him because of the things that he said and did.
I'd imagine so.
Like I said, I don't know
You
how
know,
I
you could
can get
feel
back
further
with that.
disconnected
Moving out.
if you just randomly dug, a 9-foot deep hole.
Why 9 feet?
9 feet
Well-
because you put the body at the bottom of that hole. You put 3 feet of dirt. You put like 3-4 feet of dirt, and then you put the body of something else, like an animal, and then you bury that
Oh.
further.
Well,
So
now
that way
you've
they'll only
explained
dig
that,
to the first body.
I have to find another method. Thanks. I was thinking gold shavings in his tea.
Bottom of the river, yep. My sister had a similar issue with our grandmother. She would say things that later claimed that she never did when she confronted them, and then she had a massive persecution complex. Fuck.
Right, yeah. Then he would find a way to turn it into something that, like, anytime I had an issue with
Mhm.
something he did, he would find a way to make it something I did too.
Oh
Like,
yes, of course,
we're
because
talking about that now. Well, let's talk.
it can't be his fault that he's responsible for conversations or what he says. It's obviously your fault for bringing it up in the first place. I love you too, Scarlett. I see it. I see you.
I think he really has deluded himself in certain
Yes,
regards.
that's what abusers do. It's delusions.
It's like he can't possibly think of himself the way I think of him.
Listen, man, when you're fucked up and hurt people, you can convince yourself of anything. All right, and again, he needs to go on his journey by himself. By
Right.
himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is very sparkly.
I am very sparkly. I love sparkles.
We love
Sparkles
the
are my
sparkles.
favorite. I love you too.
Why am I not sparkly? I don't have a sparkly filter.
You could if you wanted one.
Damn. Feels
Sweet.
bad. Instantly banned by Pathological. They showed up on the chat replay, but they got instantly banned by Pathological. Feels bad.
Oh.
Legitimately, friend, you need to live this relationship. Yeah, talk to your therapist in a one-on-one. Say all this. Hell, if it's hard to explain, just link this stream to your therapist and be like, hey, I said all this and I would like help get out of this situation.
Yeah.
It'll
what
be
do
up
you
on
do?
YouTube, so link the YouTube.
Yeah.
What's up?
My therapist is actually very interested in Twitch and thinks this whole mental health thing on streaming is awesome.
Are they?
Yeah.
Link all everyone out there. Link your therapists to my Twitch. I'm gonna grow a community of fellow therapists. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
No, I think I would rather grow a community of fellow autistics and neurodivergent folk. But if you're a therapist, you're also valid. You're allowed here too.
My
And you can
therapist is
critique.
ADHD.
Your therapist ADHD. That's great.
Yeah.
They're allowed. What is that? What is that?
So did you have any other questions about the earlier part of stuff?
Oh
Like,
yes,
before-
autism.
Before we got all sidetracked with like my fucking terrible ass marriage. I'm sorry.
I mean, autism has to do with relationships and dealing with relationships because being autistic is basically just about, how you interact with others socially. A lot of times that's what autism is, but it's also more than that.
You gotta watch out for the red flags because I saw them coming and I just ignored them. I completely ignored them. Like the very beginning of our relationship started out as almost like a sleeping with the enemy type situation. Where he goes and he like slaps her because the towels are uneven. Like he didn't hurt me, but he like called me into the kitchen to show me a dirty fork in the sink.
The fuck?
Right, and he wanted me to wash it right then and there. I was like not doing that. So I just didn't do dishes for like 3 months. That's the PDA coming out.
Frankie got a little wind-up bird. The burb is covered in dimensional rifts. Yeah, link the YouTube to your therapist. Do a one-on-one with them. Discuss an exit strategy. Your therapist should be able to give you. Ribbon, it's funny. I don't know if you were here for this, but I talked about this before. Is like in therapy when talking with survivors of abuse or an abusive situation, they'll talk about like exit plans, including like a go bag and your plan, your big plan, and how to plan for that plan. Said
Right.
before. I'm making pizza rolls. That sounds good, Scar.
I wish I had listened to myself a long time ago.
Yeah. It's okay.
But I didn't know. We're so vulnerable to manipulation and victimization. It's unreal how trusting I can be of people that have not ever had a good thought for me.
I mean, that's also part of being autistic in a weird way too. It can be.
Right.
It's just like
Right,
being
yeah.
overly trusting and
We're just
wanting to like see the
very
best in
trusting.
people.
Right.
You know,
Definitely
'cause
have that Pollyanna.
because speaking of like bad autistic takes, like autistic people are actually super fucking empathetic.
Super empathetic. Like I feel for him more than like I'm more worried about his feelings
Than your own.
than I am about my own or
And
my
that's
children.
dangerous.
And that's really fucked up. And I
Yeah.
realize those priorities are whack.
Yeah.
So I struggle with, those triggers every day, and it's hard. And
Yeah.
and I don't know that I want to live like this for the rest of my life, dealing with the triggers.
I don't want you to live like this. Honestly, I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to thrive and be in a safe environment for yourself and your kids. And,
Right.
I know, again, we're not going to solve this today and overnight and whatnot, but I hope this
Right.
talk did kind of help you open your eyes a little bit. And
It
go back
did.
and watch it as well,
Yeah, just hearing yourself say the shit that you say, and that's why I didn't want to prepare too much for today. Because I knew that I wouldn't want to say the things that I was going to say because it's embarrassing and it's shameful feeling, even though I know it's not. There's no
It's
I
not,
didn't
but the feeling.
do anything wrong,
No, you
but
didn't.
I can do something right now,
Yes.
I just struggle to know what the right thing is regarding my children.
Yeah. You got to do
So-
right by, even
so
if you
what is-
can't do right by
What
yourself.
is your opinion? What is your opinion on people that stay together, who actively work together as a team? Like, what if I don't ever fall in love with him again? What if I'm just apathetic, but I can be, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to answer this because there's like
Fuck.
7 different questions that you're actually asking.
Oh, this sounds so stupid as I'm saying it.
No, it's not stupid. I think you're going through stages of grief in a way. So I'm going to answer a few questions that you didn't ask, which is, I think that you should stop trying to justify to yourself a future with this person. I think you should, it's important to stay grounded in the here and now and like what is actually viable and what's not viable. If you need to stay with him financially, spiritually, whatever, because, he needs to get you to Ohio first, fine, by all means, but be realistic with those expectations,
Right.
You're trying to ask me like, oh, what is this relation? Again, you're basically asking me again, what does this relationship look like down the road? What if I just like give up? And I have a really hard time. Rooting. I have a really hard time. I very much struggle with the idea of just standing still in a situation where you can have a very big and important impact on it. And I know, and I get the like, feeling of the dog trapped in the cage, and like, even though the cage door is open, you'll still sit because you're afraid that someone's just gonna shock you again, kind of thing. Like, that learned helplessness is so fucking awful. It's like a sludge that just continually slows you down and stops you. But
He's always discouraged me from having jobs too.
yeah, that's what abusers will do. He'll
always
discourage you
complain
from
about
being
the
independent, discourage you from being financially independent in any way. And being financially independent is stupid fucking important into escaping any situation, first and foremost. Unfortunately, in our capitalistic society, you do need money to get away from things.
Right.
So these kind of
if
situations
I can't provide
affect...
a stable home for the children, then he
Right.
gets full custody, that
Right.
kind of thing.
Right. That too. Because there's the kids, and that adds an extra element to it, right?
Here's where being autistic comes into play hardcore. This is real talk, guys.
Mhm.
I refuse to have my diagnosis put on my record. It's not on my medical record. My ADHD is, yes. My
That's
autism
reasonable.
is not.
That's reasonable,
And
because I know for a fact that some
I
states will
know it
fuck
will
you
be used
over.
against me.
Yes, it will. Because they'll say that you're not fit. you're not mentally fit to raise kids because you're autistic. And it's really fucked. It's super fucking ridiculous. It's super fucking ableist.
I'm better suited to raise these kids than anybody else.
Same with adopting kids as well, apparently. Like, in certain states, like, they'll refuse to adopt a kid to you if you're diagnosed as autistic, and apparently they can pull those records, and that's fucking legit and legal and stupid. It's really, really...
It's really fucked up.
It's really fucked up at the end of the day. Yeah.
So I don't know, just... I don't know. I thought I did not expect to be talking so much about my relationship, but I do understand that it was a bizarre fucking situation that I put myself in here.
Yeah.
And that I'm still dealing with the reality of the situation, which hasn't fully realized itself. I do feel like I need to give it this one last shot. I don't know why.
What?
Because otherwise I'll...
When you've been in...
It's just I'm doubling down on the mistake is what I'm doing.
When you've been in a bad situation for a while, it can be very easy to convince yourself to give him another chance, to give him another chance, to give him another chance. And I need you to do the hard thing for yourself and not give him another chance. And even if you can't do it for yourself, if you can't bring to do it for yourself, do it for me. Do it for your kids. You know, if you need some sort of external motivation,
right,
I'll give you channel VIP if you escape this situation. Like,
all right, you've given me pause. But I'm still on track to deal with both situations should they occur. Like, if I need to leave, I will be able to leave. I just need to get there. And if he continues to be this person that he's turned himself into, I don't know.
Again, even if he does, even if he is better, the shadow of who he was and how he's abused and manipulated you is always going to hang there.
So how do I convince myself that I don't need a glorified reason to leave? Like,
because you don't need a glorified reason. How do you convince yourself you don't need one? I'm telling you right now, you don't need one. Why do you need to convince yourself? Do you need to convince yourself to actually make movement in your life? Do it for your kids. Aren't your kids suffering or going to suffer with him if he gets bad again? You know what I mean? Like, that's an abusive situation. Why would you put your kids through an abusive situation?
Okay, because as long as I'm here monitoring the situation...
No, you can't be here 24/7.
But I'm here most of the time.
But what about the one time you're not?
What if he reverts back to that bullshit when he's got joint custody, though?
He very well might, and then that's when you fight for full custody. You'll burn that bridge when you come to it.
Okay. So borrowing trouble is one way we keep ourselves in the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking for reasons why I can't do something.
You're in the negotiation stage of...
How many stages are there? I don't follow the typical grief structure.
No one does. We talked about grief before. Stages of grief do not happen in order, and they don't happen... They can happen at the same time, and they don't happen in order, and they don't happen at anyone's time period. It just fucking happens all at once and all at the same time, and sometimes nothing at all. And you can go back. The stages are, for the record, grief, denial, anger, depression, bargaining, acceptance. But they don't necessarily go in that order.
I know that it would be easier for my family if I don't divorce. Like, my mom will be able to keep on thinking that at least one of her children's marriages worked out, and I don't know. I'd have to get a career. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I've been prevented from having a career. So how am I going to support my children? I don't know.
Yeah, is your marriage working out if you're unhappy, though? That's not really.
I'm very unhappy. I'm still very unhappy. And it's not anything he's doing. I'm just...
Here's another point Ribbon raised. I don't know if you saw this.
It doesn't feel real?
Yeah. I get that. But what if you find someone else to love, you know? You're what-ifing yourself a lot. But you haven't what-ifed yourself in a positive direction yet.
Shit. What if I just leave? I know I would be happier.
Yeah. And what if you found someone who could better take care of your kids and help and treats you with respect?
I'm not even interested in other people. I just...
Doesn't have to be romantic. Just a friend partner. Ruben said before, if you're able to be amicable, which I can't tell you whether or not he will be based off of everything you said, there's a way you can co-parent without being well separated. You don't need to be in a relationship to keep your children happy. In fact, by the sound of your relationship, your children will be much happier when you're separated. They'll be much able to see you glow and grow beyond him. Perhaps you have to behave differently when your connection to him is severed. I hope that makes sense. He isn't healthy for you, but I don't want to blanket rule out that he could be healthy outside of you. Yeah, which is what I was saying before. Like, he can grow, you know, but he can also grow on his own. You don't have to be there for him. You're not obligated emotionally.
Right. Right. And I really feel for the person he runs into after me. Because who knows which direction he'll go. He can get real dragged down into feeling sorry for himself, you better believe.
Yeah, and then he's just going to go back to bad habits, potentially. And then he's going to show himself as a danger to the kids, and then you're going to take that to the court, and then the court's going to give you full custody. Boom. Lawyer Waba on the fucking payroll.
I hope so. I mean, I hope...
I think your mom would prefer you to be happy and for the kids to be happy and healthy rather than you keep a piece of slip of paper intact. Always full of your happiness, yeah.
I don't know.
You don't even need to look for partners to look for happiness.
My brother's wife cheated on him, and she begged my brother not to divorce her. As if, like, she had any place begging him to do anything about his marriage.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Census, is that, you know, if you're a nice person, and especially since you're autistic as well, and you're just, like, very sensitive to those kind of things.
Yeah.
When abusers happen in your life, it feels like abuse is happening at us, as opposed to that we're in any sense of control of a situation.
I'm not sure I understand. Can you rephrase?
Like, when someone who's gone through a lot of trauma has traumas happen to them, they feel like it is targeted specifically at them. Like, things happen to them because of who they are, fundamentally. Like, because I am Waba, I deserve to have all these things happen to me because of the way I am, because I'm autistic, because I'm this, that, and the other identity. I deserve to have these. At some core value, I believe that I believe that I somehow have convinced myself and believe that I deserve this. So maybe in some weird, twisted, fucked up way, because you're the way that you are, and with your kindness and with your empathy, you feel like you deserve to be in this relationship. And so when you try to make a boundary for yourself, you're just like, well, do I really deserve to make that boundary for myself?
Okay, you know what part of my problem is? I love broken things. I just fucking love...
Are you in love with your broken self? Or the unlovable him?
Yeah, it's like somehow I'm special, and it's delusional, really. You know?
It's delusional, but understandable.
Yeah.
Because you've been through so much, so it's just like...
I've never verbalized this type of thing. I've avoided it. I've spoken at length about my marriage with a very trusted friend of mine, but I never thought to turn it this direction. It's always been about saving the marriage, and or, you know. There's a point where you just realize that you've just been fooling yourself. I know I have, for sure. I let myself think things were better. But he's still struggling with his temper, visibly. Like, I don't even want to see that he's upset. It's almost like I don't want to allow him to get upset, which is that I don't think that's healthy either.
No. It's not.
Thanks, Ruin.
It's not healthy to hold yourself hostage to him.
I feel that's what I'm in limbo. Like, I want to move on. I want to get out. But I feel like I can't because I owe it to him to let him prove that he's changed. Like, you know
you're
what
emotionally
I mean?
attached to him, and you're emotionally
Yeah.
invested in his change and his life journey.
I'm
and I
trying
get
not
that.
to be, but if I'm
You need to
also
cut it.
being honest
You need to
with myself-
hard cut it, because I had to hard cut my emotional attachment to my mother, because I didn't want to allow myself to cry any more tears for her bullshit, frankly.
Right.
You know, and I think
Right,
you need
and
to
I
do the
feel
same
like
with
I'm
him.
still very emotionally detached from the entire relationship.
You're
I'm
emotionally detached, but
struggling-
you're still attached to some growth. You're attached to the brokenness
Right. Yeah.
of it. And again, there's like that part of you that's like, you know, maybe I love that it's broken. I get off on it's
Maybe
broken.
I love that.
Trauma bonding. Yep, that's trauma bonding. Anyway, your homework, your therapeutic I am not your therapist homework is to go watch Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future and Steven Universe the movie.
What?
Yep.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Steven Universe is?
No.
Great. You're about to cry your fucking heart out.
Oh no. I cry at movies.
Steven Universe is a very, very poignant show about relationships, about being a mother, about being a child who's gone through trauma stuff. Steven Universe Future is also fucking great. You kind of have to watch it all to get the full context. There are some filler episodes, but it's all fucking important.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to get you on this show. You watch Steven Universe, the series, and then watch the movie, and then watch Future, and come back to me.
So
it'll take you like
series,
a week.
then the movie, and then the follow-up.
And then Steven Universe Future. Yeah.
Okay. Is it all on Netflix or something?
I will link you a site to watch it. Watch it with your kids as well, because your kids will get a lot out of it, honestly. Even if they don't understand everything fully, they'll get a lot out of it.
Okay.
And it's important, especially Future. Future is so important because it does that thing that not a lot of animes do, where it handles what happens after the protagonist has saved the day and saved the universe. What happens to that protagonist emotionally?
Right.
And the answer is they're fucked up.
Oh. Jesus.
Yeah. Other Friends is going to get you crying because that movie is about abandonment.
Oh no.
And yeah. Get
yeah,
the
we've had
tissues
some
ready.
abandonment in our family. My paternal grandpa disowned my dad and his entire family.
Yes, you also learn a bit of geology along the way. That's true.
Oh yay.
That is true.
I love rocks.
You love rocks?
I do. I collect them.
Maybe not as much as other friends, at least not the first time, yeah.
Do you want to hear one of the meanest things he's ever done?
What's that?
No, you probably don't. Well, we went on vacation and we went to Michigan and I sat in a river and collected river rocks. And if anybody's ever been to Michigan and collected river rocks, you know how fucking awesome they are.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I couldn't decide which rocks I wanted, so I wanted them all. And I had a big pile of rocks that I was going to take back with me to California or wherever. Yeah, we were in California, or maybe we were in Nevada. I don't. It doesn't matter. So I was gonna take him back with me, and I come back to the cabin to find the rocks are gone. And I'm looking around and we're ready to go. We're like all packed up. And I notice a pile of debris in the bush by the cabin front door. He had dumped my whole basket of rocks behind the bush. Just dumped them out. Just dumped the whole thing so that I would think that they were gone and not bring any of them back with me. And he knows how much I love rocks. And I never could understand why he did that to me. I collected them all back, and I put them all in my suitcase and kept my suitcase with me the whole time. Make sure I got my rocks back home. But I never understood like why he would do that.
Control.
Yeah, it's like he just couldn't let me have
He just wanted to hurt you.
something. And then he acted like it was not, like he didn't know they were important to me. Which is insane. Even my kids knew how important they were, and my kids were toddlers.
Mm-hmm.
Another time, I was 8 months pregnant with our middle son, and he was wasted, and he wanted me to go get him more beer or rum or something from the liquor store, and I was tired and going to bed, and so I said no. And I wasn't afraid to say no because, get this, I had never actually told him no before.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was after like 10 years of marriage. I'd never actually said no.
It's wild.
And so when I said no, he was livid. He called me a bitch. He said he was going to drive to the store drunk, and that if anything happened to me, it would be his fault or my fault.
That's completely
It was
fucked.
really fucked up. And he swears to this day that that never happened, that he doesn't remember doing that.
Yeah, because he's a gaslighter.
Right.
He's an abuser. He's not going to remember what the fuck shitty shit he said. But you're certainly going to remember how it made you feel.
I'm going to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, don't let me gaslight you.
Ugh.
The whole thing's gaslight. Anyway, do you have Hulu or HBO Max or anything like that?
No. I
Cartoon
don't.
Network. Do you have
No.
do you have a TV show? Do you have a like cable or whatever?
But you know what?
Okay.
Can I rent it?
I found I found a site.
I could just sign up for Hulu for a week.
Yeah, I mean you could probably watch the entirety of Steven Universe in a week if you have nothing to do.
I've got nothing to do. Except, like be a mom.
Yeah. Feel free to watch it with your kids. Steven Universe is on Hulu, yeah.
Okay, cool. Alright, I'll look into it.
Do it. Get back to me and tell me in Discord that you're crying or something.
Just post a picture of my ugly cry face.
Yeah, totally. No, but let us know. We could also watch Party of Steven Universe. That shit, the whole fucking show makes me cry. We could watch part of the movie. The whole thing makes me cry. It's like it makes you very happy, but it also makes you cry. Hey Millie, welcome in. Yeah, it's still an abuse.
So,
still manipulation.
I really appreciate you breaking it down and actually being real with me and telling me what you actually thought. Because I know there's a lot of people, they don't want to.
Nah.
They don't want to.
I'm autistic. I'm blunt. I will burst all the bubbles because I don't think it's healthy to live your life in a bubble of well, everything's fine. Because that literally happened to another friend of mine.
Asking you your opinion and you give me some bullshit. Well, I hope things work out for you. No.
I'm not a creator to give bullshit to anyone. All right. I'm not the fucking one. I'm not gonna smooth over and be like, well, I hope everything works out for you. Like, smile, smile, fake positivity. Ugh.
No, I'm tired of masking. I'm tired of pretending things
Yeah.
are normal and okay.
Chat, fucking cancel me if I ever try to do that to someone, please. By all means, cancel Waba if I try to like be toxically positive or just like try to gloss over something like that. The episode Alone Together was oddly one of the things that made me realize I was trans. That's fucking awesome, honestly. I love Steven Universe. Steven Universe is so fucking gender inclusive and just, it's great. Great show. I was told a story about someone's family member getting stuck in the bachelor's relationship. She bought a place in the swamp and it was hell, and now that's my analogy. I don't want to be stuck in a swamp. Oi! Get out of my swamp! That's all I can think of now.
See, when I think of swamp, I think of Monty Python.
Swamp Monty Python.
Building a castle on a swamp, and then it
Yeah.
sank, and then he built another one, and that
Yeah.
one sank too, and so he built a third swamp, and that one stood, or something, or maybe the fourth one. Something about swamps.
Well, but we
So
both
did
got
we-
our voice.
I think we all got more than we bargained for today.
That's every Mental Health Monday. Am I more than you bargained for? Oh, yeah. The bog of eternal stench.
Did any of that ring for you, though? Like the growing up stuff?
Yes. Because my journey with being autistic as a child, because I didn't know I was autistic until maybe like last year or so, but I've been questioning it for that long as well.
Right.
But I feel very confident calling myself autistic because it just explains too much. Like I socially.
Oh, I have no doubt.
I socially analyzed situations. Like I would like listen in on the playground to like people's conversations.
I remember you telling me.
And I'd like try to memorize like what they would saying. Yeah, I was like making little lists of like things to say. And then I would try that line in another conversation, and then it wouldn't go so well. And I'd be like, why didn't it go well? You're supposed to say this now. And I would like kind of like
TV shows and comedians and stuff.
I would kind of almost pretend that like I was almost in like a scripted TV show, and I'm like, I would say something, and they'd be like, I don't know what to say. Like they'd say something else, and I'd be like, no, you're supposed to say this now.
Right. Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
No, you're doing it wrong. You got to say this now. This is your line. Come on.
Right.
And I just thought everyone like had scripts inside their head or something, and I never got a script. I never got a script, so you know.
You have to make your own. I know they all got something, and I don't know what they got, but I've never been allowed to look at it.
Like, who told them how to socialize? I didn't get that lesson, Mom. The fuck? And it's so fucking stupid. Because my mom was all like, oh, if you had like Down syndrome or whatever, or like mentally this, that, and the other thing, like I would have had you as a baby. Like she's trying to say that as like to be a good person. But then also my mom never got me tested for autism.
Because there can't be anything wrong.
Oh.
No, I never.
There can't be anything wrong with my little baby. Who's gonna be my son, the doctor. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Right. No, I went to art school and disappointed everybody.
I tried to make video games be a software engineer because someone told me to be a software engineer instead of just video game design degree. So I tried to be a software engineer, and then I failed Calc 5 times, and I'm shit at coding, and it's frustrating. And then I did psychology classes when I dropped out of Drexel and went to Westchester Community College. And guess what? I got all A's, and then I went to UAlbany, and guess what? I got all A's, and then I did my master's, and I got burnt out because they wanted me to say things exactly how they wanted you to say things. And I was like, ugh, I have to play the fucking game and I hate it. And they think I'm aggressive and I'm fucking mean and I'm a aggressive, person with an anger issue or whatever the fuck because I'm perceived male and this, that, and the other thing. And I said I was upsetty one time and they're like, you have anger issues. And I'm like, fuck off.
You said you were upset?
Yep, I was upset because we had a final project that was worth a quite bit of a grade. We had to do a therapy session with someone, and they assigned me someone, and I texted them, and they didn't respond for quite a while. I told them that they didn't respond. They said, keep waiting, and I'm like, well, this is fucking like 30% of my grade here. And then they didn't respond until like a week later. Like, the assignment was basically due, and I had already gotten someone else to interview instead, and they're like, oh, lol, I forgot to text you, or like I got scared, I wanted to pull out, and I guess they didn't tell you. And I said to my, you know, supervisor during whatever supervision, I was just like, you know, I was just like really mad, like they didn't respond, like I kind of wanted to like text them like, hey, fuck you, or whatever, but like obviously, you know, I didn't do that. And then like she later pulled me aside and she's like, you know, you showed a lot of aggression today. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you have anger issues. And I'm like, huh? Like, I'm really scared to be around with you. I'm like, what?
That's because most people don't say what they're thinking like that, you know. And it's like
I'm just expressed. Am I not allowed to? You asked me how I felt about the situation when I said they didn't respond, and I told you how I felt, and then you're like, well, you have anger issues. Like, I wasn't actually gonna text them that. I wasn't gonna text them that. I was just angry, and I just was like, I wanted to say, hey, fuck you.
I hate when
they're
people
like,
act
that's
like
an anger issue, and
angry is
obviously
like
you're
a bad thing.
Bro, I'm like, literally, are you sexisming me right now? Are you saying I'm an angry white male? Like, I get it. I look like a white male, but I assure you, I am not an angry white male. I'm just a slightly upsetty white non-binary autistic person. But I didn't know that at the time. Anyway.
Right.
And I've always had to like say to myself, I have to play the game in order to get ahead. I have to play the game. I have to play the game. So yeah, I'm very autistic. I relate so hard to that not receiving the script/code. Yeah. If you can't write your own scripts, store-bought is fine. Hey, Angel, I can relate to that a lot. My mom worked as a PCA most of my life. She knew mental illnesses existed, but none of her kids could have any since she'd been diagnosed with CPTSD, ADHD, depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Yeah. Autism doesn't equate to intelligence, though. I know, Scarlett. I know. That's a separate fucking issue, and my mom's a horrible person. But yes, we fucking know here that autism does not equate to intelligence, and I really hate that Haddis, when he got diagnosed for autism recently, they also gave him an intelligence test, because still we're in the fucking dark ages of being like, oh, you're autistic? That must mean you also have an intelligence disability.
Are you also a genius or a dumbass?
Are you a savant or a dumbass, you know? And all the savants, all the useful autistics get labeled Asperger's, and all the not useful autistics got thrown in the fires with the Jews during World War II, and that's where Asperger's comes from. Don't fucking at me. But all the same, if you identify as Aspie or you know, fucking Asperger's, that's fine. You can, I see you, you can identify as that. That's just that's just where it comes from.
I did identify as an Aspie because that's clearly what I was.
There's a community there as well. There's an Aspie community.
And there is a huge community because they've reclaimed kind of that.
They've kind of reclaimed it, yeah.
But at the same time, there's a whole wave of recognition going through the community where it's slowly phasing out. Because it's holistic.
Yeah.
You know, when you really boil it down, it's ableist.
It is. It is ableist, unfortunately. So. Yes, Salience, you were considered one of the useful ones because your intelligence quotient was higher, wherever the fuck. That's why you were diagnosed with Asperger's. 100%. 110%, that's why.
I mean, I've known autistics on all stages
all levels,
of
all stages.
Scale.
Yeah. I was kicked out of grad school teaching as my income for needing a semester of mental health leave. I'm still bitter. Yeah, because you literally can't get like an educational degree. You can't get a doctor's degree. You can't get any kind of like nursing or doctor's degree if you have a mental illness. If you report you have a mental illness, or they find out that you have a mental illness, documented or otherwise, you're going to therapy, they kick you out of fucking school. That's so stupid. Yeah. Therapist teacher, how do you feel about that? Waba says how they genuinely feel. Therapist teacher, I don't like how you feel, so I'm upset. Yeah, literally. But her. So one of these, yes. In my personal experience, most autistic people I met are incredibly smart. Yeah, my autistic roommate is the tech guru. Just remember, kids, if anyone ever tells you that vaccines cause autism, tell them actually it's the other way around. Most scientists have autism because their special interest is science and research. So actually, autism causes vaccines. Helps me identify my specific struggles as passing. God, I fucking feel that stone. Don't get me started on not getting disability because they view me as too intelligent.
I was never passing for like normal though. Like I went to 12 different schools, 3 different high schools. I would walk in day one, people would fucking know.
Yep.
What happened? What happened, girl? No.
Aw. I'm gonna deafen for a second there, so she can deal. Privacy. So yeah. How's anyone doing? Fantasy physics sure I was passing. Yeah. Doing starting getting disability because you used to intelligence. Yeah, so fucking stupid. David was diagnosed with Asperger's mental illness frequently enough that his mom was able to fight for him to get Medicaid. Good. They do what now? What was that in relationship to Salience, by the way? You ate my pizza rolls? Nice, Scarlett. Hell yeah. I bumped schools and was in special ed and was seen as smart, pushed ahead, I fell back. But as no means normal, but passing, yeah. Honestly, I think the root cause of my current situation is not wanting to be perceived as mentally disabled. Yeah. Because it's fucking... Okay. It's fucking rough. The earlier thing was about the doctor thing. Oh, yeah. So if you're in medical school, this is actually true. You can look this up. You can fact check me on this, please. If you're in medical school and you're trying to go for a medical degree, if you tell them that like you're in therapy or whatever, or you take like medication for like depression or whatever, they'll disqualify you for from being a doctor. Yeah. Seriously.
That doesn't sound true.
I'm serious. To be fair, I heard it from TikTok. Hi, sorry. Wanted to give you privacy.
No, that's okay. They bonked each other roughhousing. Oh my god. What? Well, are you? Then we don't have to.
I'm gonna try to look this up again.
I was all super proud of my momming moment. But I handled it well.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know.
No, you did the right thing.
Yeah. I felt like you were having a private parent moment. I just wanted to keep that private for you. I don't know.
Appreciate it. I don't think my kids really want to be on camera.
Yeah, that too. I don't really want to try to like be said like,
they're
oh,
not
Waba's
part of the content. Yeah.
Waba's using kids for the content. No.
They are entertaining though.
In some states, there's a question for doctors of, have you ever been treated for a mental health condition? And it can disqualify you for licensure.
Interesting.
In certain states.
Didn't know that. It's sad. It's sad that our, healthcare workers can't get the mental health they need, especially with such stressful jobs. Oh, I've been so productive while talking.
Yeah, depends on state, I guess. I thought it was just general, but it does depend on state, it seems. Medical license boards are often controlled by state legislature, so...
Yeah, that's probably all depends on which state you're in.
What are you doing? Yeah, medical licensing boards traditionally have doctors try to disclose. Basically, it's kind of like the base question makes sense when you think about it. It's like, do you have some like mental health condition that might prevent you from doing your job?
Right.
But instead of asking that, they say, do you have any? Are you doing treatment for any mental health disorder? Oh, okay, you can't be, fucking licensed.
Right.
So in theory, if I did end up going the initial road that I intended in college and led to medical school, there would have been a chance that they would have been kicked out anyway, or just not getting licensed. So you've been blocked. You would have been blockaded after you already paid all that money.
Well, what I want to know is like, what about therapists? Is there any?
For therapists,
Yeah.
The only blockade is getting through all the red tape, which is why I'm not licensed.
Oh my.
Dead ass. I fucking struggled through my master's, and I spent an extra couple of semesters getting my master's because of like burnout and fucking shitty abusive supervisors.
Right.
And then I had a great supervisor, and I was like, so good. I had a very bad placement.
How it can be. Yeah.
I had a very bad placement initially as well. So I got a better placement at my current job actually. As kind of like a lower level version of like a care coordinator, not care coordinator, what do they call them? I don't know. Basically, you help patients and you do fucking classes. It's called psychological rehabilitation, like classes, psych rehab.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. You teach people like skills, like coping skills. You teach them about their body. They can like basically classes are given to them as like a prescription type ish. So psychological rehab is like a really, really cool thing. The thing is that the workers there are super fucking overworked. Like you have a 30-person caseload. You have to write all their service plans as well, and you have to like prescribe the classes to them and stuff. And you have to run classes yourself. So it's a lot, and I'm like, it's a lot for not enough money. So I said, fuck that, and I became a case coordinator instead because it's just about like a little bit less money, but so much less work.
Right.
Also, I agree with Ruben. You look like you were handling it well, but you deserve privacy with your kids. Yes.
Yeah.
I would think if a doctor had expertise with mental health issues, they'd be able to hear the patients better, at least to relate a little bit. Exactly. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to relate, because I know a lot of times in the mental health like training, they're like, you know, you shouldn't really relate with your clients, you know, that's called transference. You got to talk about that, you know, in supervision, and like I get that, but I also am like, personally, if you want to know what my focus of like, if I was a mental health counselor, actually, my focus would be on humanistic psychology, which is literally just this, talking to a person where they're at, talking to them as another person, instead of just like, I am a stuffy professional and I have you to do 6 weeks of CBT and we must write down lists of all your bad negative thoughts and parse them out.
Oh my god. What?
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that shit. So anyway, yeah, so the struggle for me was getting through the
I
program.
couldn't even make a list. How am I supposed to make a list? I'd have to keep track of it and shit.
Yep, journaling. So the struggle for me was going through the master's program, and then to get the licensure, you have to pass an exam, but the exam tests you on stuff that they don't really teach you, or like they teach you like once and then you're supposed to just fucking memorize it. But basically you just have to memorize like this disorder goes to this treatment, and that's it. And it's super stuffy, super gloved. And plus it's like $500 to take this fucking test. So if you fail, that's another $500. Yeah, it's so fucking ridiculous. And you have to like mark all your hours and get all your hours marked off by someone who like actually has like credentials. You know, this, that, and the fucking other thing. So there's a lot of fucking steps.
So gatekeepy.
And then after you get your licensure, you still have to do continuing education credits after the fact and renew said licensure every like 4 years or something like that.
That sounds like what they expect teachers to do. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm just like, you know what? Fuck all that. I'm unlicensed and I'm proud. I'm okay. Like, I could still technically have a small business where I am a life coach or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have,
That's
like,
cool.
I don't know. I also have, like, a personal vendetta against, like, the practice of, like, calling yourself a counselor or this, that, and the other thing. Because I've met a particular life coach that basically, I feel like effectively they would agree with this. They would strongly agree with the statement, life coach is definitely a replacement for real therapy or doctors. And I'm like, that is so dangerous. Like, they were selling themselves way too hard, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ranted on for a long time, and so did you. I guess. I don't know. How are you feeling?
I feel good. Like, I was really nervous because I just didn't know how much I would feel comfortable talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been, like I said, completely open with my chat on, you know, my stream about my marriage struggles and stuff because I just really needed that community. And this feels like an extension of that. Like, and it was refreshing to hear my fears spoken aloud. Like, I don't have to be afraid of thinking that anymore. Like, it doesn't make me disloyal or a bad person or a bad mom to think about leaving him after everything. In fact, most self-respecting individuals would get up and go.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, why am I not a self-respecting individual?
Something to think about. Process.
Mm-hmm. And how do I go about respecting myself in the future?
I don't know. IMO, I think you should just do it and then figure out all that other emotional shit afterwards. And that is survival mode me talking. Because I know that's not like holistic as it needs to be.
No. Well, holistic it is in a way, because when your body reacts to the stress of being in a situation like I'm in, it reacts terribly. Like, I feel like an old lady. I have so many health problems because of my stress. Jesus, butt.
Yeah, they want to butt you. Also, I am already a life coach. I stream on twitch.tv/WabaStreams Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Come catch Waba live, only on Twitch.
And this has been a WabaStreams Mental Health Monday. We do all these things, but on mental health first and variety second. Anyway, subathon at the end of the month. Autism month, talking to folks. Thank you for being a guest, genuinely. I really do appreciate you a lot. I'm kind of tired, so I will leave
that
you
was a
this
lot
Steven
to take
Universe.
in.
Yeah. I understand if you've been trained to be overly polite, but I assure you, you can be overly not polite here. As long as you're respectful, then you're fine. Let's go find someone to raid out. Everyone say goodbye to YouTube.